Siege. Select a champion.
Strix.
हेलो, तो स्वागत है आप लोगों का नई स्ट्रीम में। कल हमने एक वीडियो पोस्ट करी थी, तो उसी के काम पे लगे हुए थे, इसलिए कल लाइव नहीं आए।
Customize your champion.
Here comes the trap.
और अभी कैजुअल से शुरू करके कुछ रैंक गेम्स भी खेलेंगे। थोड़ा पानी पी ले। Just a minute. All set. और बढ़िया सब कुछ। इसी के साथ अगली टीम में बहुत बढ़िया। अजीब सी मैच मेकिंग क्या, अजीब सी। स्मर्फ हो कोई एक आधा तो भी ठीक है।
Pass me the ox cord. You won't regret it.
खतरा ही लग रहा है वैसे। 3 लोग ऑनलाइन, क्या बात है, बढ़िया।
Prepare for battle.
ऋषभ अंकित वगैरह ही होंगे।
Let the battle begin.
कहाँ से अच्छा जी।
An enemy has drawn first blood.
मचा लेक्स गया। चल, बाकी बढ़िया खेल रहे, मेरे से तो बढ़िया खेल रहे बाकी। मरे ओके। बच गया।
Be careful, right flank. Help the middle.
कहाँ से है? बचाओ भैया, बच गए तो। बचा लिया। हाँ
Enemy killing. Sorry.
कहाँ है? अरे यार आप ऐसा होती तो भी ठीक था। चल कोई नहीं, हालत खराब।
Enemy killing spree.
हाँ हाँ अरे यार बहुत खराब खेल रहे हैं। कोई नहीं,
Enemy rampage. Enemy killing spree.
हाँ
30 seconds remain. Incinerate them. Enemy
ना
15 seconds remain.
शॉट लग क्यों नहीं रहा?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
आया एक मिनट।
Burn for that.
Sorry.
Capture point spawning in 15 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Enemies on the right flank. It's working fine.
हेलो ध्रुव,
Enemy killing spree.
गड़बड़ी कर रहा हूँ।
No problem.
Enemy killing.
हाँ गड़बड़।
Enemy killing spree.
नींद दे रही थी, कोई नहीं। अरे यार 4 मार गया। गेम कैसा लग रहा है बता? तो खेल नहीं रहा मैं ढंग से।
No one escapes the law.
Overtime. Stop the payload.
बहुत घटिया खेल रहा हूँ, बहुत घटिया खेल रहा हूँ। अरे यार स्टन इसके
Enemy double. Sorry. Enemy killing spree.
सारे मर गए। हे भगवान, घर पे पहुंच के मार दे। हालत खराब है यहाँ पे।
Sorry.
No problem.
Heresy.
No problem.
Capture point spawning in 15
वैसे गेम अगर अच्छा लगा हो तो डाउनलोड कर लो, फ्री है वैसे भी। स्टीम से डाउनलोड कर लो
4, 3,
और लो सेटिंग पे।
1.
अगर पीसी ज़्यादा मतलब हाई फाई भी नहीं है तो भी चल जाएगी आराम से। बहुत पीसी के लिए अच्छी गेम है। यहीं पे है।
Enemy
क्या
Enemy rampage.
दूसरा चैंपियन लेना चाहिए था।
Help the front line. Kneel. Sorry.
हाँ रखा।
An enemy is unstoppable. Enemy double
मैं-
kill.
खतरनाक है
Enemy
सारे
killing spree.
के। एक नंबर खतरनाक है।
Sign up.
Defeat. Sorry.
Good game.
कोई नहीं।
Here comes the pain.
30 seconds remaining.
Show them no mercy.
Bringing out the big guns.
चलो भाई कोई नहीं। अगला मैच खेलते।
Siege. Choose your champion.
अच्छा यहाँ पे तो करना ऐसा चलेगी,
Kinetha.
पर टैंक लेना चाहिए। छोड़ो, यहाँ पे टैंक कौन सा बढ़िया रहेगा? चलो इसने ले लिया। हाँ बढ़िया। अच्छा मैं इसके अलावा कोई और गेम स्ट्रीम करूं तो बताओ।
Customize your champion.
Got my target. Heading to
मैं
coordinates
सोच रहा
now.
हूँ बीच में मैं कोई कैंपेन की स्टोरी गेम डालूं स्ट्रीम में या फिर वीडियोस में। या फिर ये यही कंटेंट कंटिन्यू रहना चाहिए? भाई मेरी एमिंग बहुत घटिया है। सिंपल टिप है कि प्रैक्टिस करो, और फ्री गेम्स आते हैं कुछ स्मॉल गेम्स, अगर एमिंग बहुत सही में अच्छी करनी है, जो प्रोफेशनल गेमर्स खेलते हैं। मुझे सही में खुद नहीं आती अच्छी गेम, मुझे खुद इसने बताया मेरे दोस्त ने। प्रैक्टिस से आता सब कुछ। सारे फ्लैंक और डैमेज भरे पड़े मेरे, तो ऐसे से हो जाएगी।
The battle is about to begin.
अंकित भाई चैट में बताइए तूने कौन सा सॉफ्टवेयर बताया था? सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं, मतलब छोटी सी मिनी गेम एमिंग की प्रैक्टिस के लिए, मेरे को खुद नाम याद नहीं आ रहा।
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The battle has begun.
Keep going.
Yeah.
To me dead. Mama told me to take pride in my work.
वाह, किधर है किधर? ओह शिट। प्रैक्टिस भाई मैं खुद बहुत बेकार खेलता था, मैंने महीनों तक बहुत बेकार खेला, कहना से। और दूसरा तरीका है, तरीका नहीं मतलब एक उसका एड ऑन है कि जो प्रोफेशनल गेमिंग करते हैं उनकी स्ट्रीम्स या फिर उनके कॉन्टेस्ट देखो जो कंपटीशन होते हैं। अरे यार भागो, ये देखो कितने टाइम से खेल रहे हो बताओ? जैसे डीजे डॉग हो गया, अभी कौन सा मेरे फ्रेंड्स आ जानते हैं स्ट्रीमर्स को। और ये देखो फिर से मरा मैं।
Somebody's luck is about to run out.
पैलेडिन्स, हाँ पैलेडिन्स अपनी ई स्पोर्ट्स लीग रखती है, फिर पीपीएल जो होता है उसको वॉच करो। तो कोई नहीं, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं हुआ, मेरे को ऑलमोस्ट 1 साल होने वाला है। वो तरी कोई वैसे ही है, कोई नॉर्मली हर किसी का सीखने का टाइम भी अलग अलग होता है। मेरी भी बहुत अच्छी नहीं है पर मैं खेल लेता हूँ। ये ओ तेरी भगो भगो भगो, बच गए। ओ फंस गया, मर गया। शुक्र है पुश हो गया।
Dead men tell no tales.
अच्छा वही कमांड क्या थी? स्पेक्टेट करने की, और किसका स्पेक्टेट करना है बता?
Thanks.
Capture point spawning in
स्ट्रीम पे देख लियो।
Your time is near.
बाद में अलग से तेरे को भेज दूंगा, एडिट कर काट के वहां से।
1. Be careful, right flank.
अच्छा मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि एक हॉरर वो इविल विदिन 2 स्ट्रीम करूँ। और भाई वैस बड़ा दुखी करते हैं। मैं भी इधर ही आएगी। भागो यहाँ से। ना हाँ मैं साइड ही बता दूँ। व्हाट्सएप कर दिया फिर मेरे को। ये पोजीशन से आप वेस्ट RE7 यार वो बहुत स्पॉन्टेनियस है। पहले बाकियों से खेलो, कम से कम हर 2 चैंपियन हर एक कैटेगरी में खेलना सीख ही जाओ कम से कम। मजा मर जा। और थैंक यू आदित्य, थैंक यू सब्सक्राइब करने के लिए। व्हाट्सएप कर दे, यहाँ पे तो चैट में हो जाएगा वो। बेल आइकन जरूर प्रेस कर देना नोटिफिकेशन के लिए और शेयर कर दो स्ट्रीम जरूर। या फिर ये बताओ, हाँ एक दो दिन से कर रहा हूँ, तो पिछली 1-2 स्ट्रीम मैंने 1080-60 में करी है। शुरू में वो हो रहा था, बीच में फ्रेम वगैरह स्किप हो रहे थे। अगर बीच में बताना अगर लैग करे स्ट्रीम या फिर कुछ अटकने लगे। हाँ ऑलमोस्ट डेली करता हूँ, नहीं तो ट्राई करता हूँ कम से कम एक वीडियो तो डाल ही दूँ, स्ट्रीम ना हो पाए तो। ओके तो जनोस J to the E N O S, you just chose the best, Genos. ओके फिर से मैच सेम टाइम तो नहीं, वेरी कर जाता है टाइम आराम से। वैसे मैच है किसका ये? सेम टाइम तो नहीं है उससे। इसके अलावा कोई और गेम का सजेशन हो जो देखना चाहो स्ट्रीम में तो बताओ। मैं बता देता हूँ कौन कौन सी गेम है मेरे पास। सबनॉटिका, ठीक है, और ब्लैक स्क्वाड, वॉरफेस, और एक मिनट CS को जो उन्होंने अभी ये अपना क्या कहते हैं बैटल रॉयल लॉन्च करा है वो पबजी तो करता ही
4, 3, 2,
CS को मेरे पास वही है बस उनका जो
so it begins.
उन्होंने अपना बैटल रॉयल रिलीज करा था क्योंकि वो फ्री था। कंप्लीट फ्री हो गया। कंप्लीट का तो पता नहीं। या फिर ब्लैक स्क्वाड एक बार ट्राई करना। CS को थोड़ा बहुत CS को जैसा पर काफ़ी मज़ेदार है, मैंने खेला था और इसमें फ्री स्टफ इतना है ना, इतनी फार्मिंग हो जाती है। इसमें ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ती खेलने की। अच्छा ये अच्छा है, चेक करते हैं फिर। ओके खत्म, मर गया। यस जिनस ना वैसे थोड़ा इजी है खेलना। ओके कर लेंगे। ओहो अच्छा, मैंने जो अपनी पिछली वीडियो अभी डाली है कुछ टाइम पहले, एक कल डाली है, हाँ कल ही डाली, वो ज़रूर देखना, वो बड़ी काम की। भागो भागो, मर गया। अच्छा सबनॉटिका के बारे में तुम में से कितने लोग जानते हैं? दोनों में से मतलब दो ही लोग थे। तीन दो एक। ये लो। अरे मिस। चलो इसका स्पेक्टेट करते हैं। मैं हमेशा छोटी छोटी गलतियां करते रहता हूँ। चलो एक और गया।
10, 9, 8।
अच्छा कोई नहीं, जो मैंने पिछली वीडियो अभी डाली है ना चैनल पे वो देखना। गेम प्ले तो नहीं मिलेगा पर कुछ आइडिया ज़रूर मिल जाएगा, और एक बार चेक ज़रूर करना यूट्यूब पे। सबनॉटिका बहुत अच्छा गेम है। अच्छा मैं बाकी गेम्स बताता हूँ कौन कौन सी है। एक है रियल रॉयल, इतना अच्छा नहीं है। फोर्टनाइट अनरियल टूर्नामेंट ज़रूर देखना, इतना स्मूथ चलता है, इतना फास्ट है ना एक्शन उसका। वॉर फेस और वॉर फ्रेम भी है।
5, 4, 3,
और पबजी पीसी बोलना मत, अभी खेला भी नहीं जाता मेरे से वो। प्रैक्टिस करता हूँ उसके बीच बीच में कभी कभी, पर बहुत मतलब वो है, बहुत प्रैक्टिस चाहिए उसमें। इसे कहते हैं अंधा आदमी। म्यूजिक कौन सा म्यूजिक? अरे कैप्चर यस मजा मजा मजा। मैंने कौन सा म्यूजिक चला दिया? हाँ वो पता है अभी। अरे पीछे से आ गया। स्लिक्स भैया रुको 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 रुको, ये लो जी। रुक जा यार, अब वो मुझे नहीं पता कैसे करते। हाँ ये भी है। Okay. अच्छा एक हॉरर गेम सुनो, कौन सी करूँ? RE7 या फिर Evil Within 2? भागो भागो भागो। और PUBG में वीकेंडी भी आ चुका है। इस सैटरडे संडे वही करते हैं। ये कुछ नहीं होना। ओ भगो, आ भगो, पीछे पड़ गया, पीछे पड़ गया। गए 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 गए, स्लोअर कर दिया, स्लोअर कर दिया। ओके म्यूजिक। मेरे को तब भी उतना ही आ रहा है। तू बताइए ठीक है कि नहीं? ये लो
15 seconds remaining. 10, 9.
ये मर गया। अरे क्रिस्टल के आगे, क्रिस्टल के आगे जाओ आगे।
2. Overtime.
सब गालियाँ निकालेंगे मेरे पे। अच्छा खासा 4-0 जीत रहे थे, नाच मार के। ये भी क्या? ये कौनों के लगे, कौनों के लगे। अच्छा जितने लोग देख रहे हैं एक टाइम सजेस्ट करो, रात में या फिर शाम में स्ट्रीमिंग का।
Capture point spawning in 15 seconds.
7 से 9 बजे तक नहीं कर सकता। और 5 लोग जुड़ चुके हैं इसी के साथ बड़े टाइम के बाद। बस 7 से 9 बजे के बीच में नहीं कर सकता मैं। उसके आसपास का कोई टाइम सजेस्ट करो। मर गई। इसे कहते हैं किल चुराना। वैसे मजा बड़ा आता है।
Enemy killing spree.
भागो। ये तुक्का सही बैठ गया। भागो भागो भागो। मर जा, बच गई यार जरा से। अभी मरती। नहीं, सबनॉटिका के बारे में नहीं, मुझे उसका बेसिकली एपिक ने जो अभी नया निकाले मैं उसकी बात कर रहा था। सबनॉटिका के लिए तो मैंने कहा था कि दूसरी वीडियोस भी देखें दूसरे चैनल पे जाके, जैसे है एक ओके एक चैनल है बीस्ट बॉय शो, शायद सुना होगा तुमने, काफ़ी पॉपुलर चैनल है। उस भाई ने भी वीडियो डाली है, उसने पूरी वो प्लेलिस्ट है उसकी, सबनॉटिका की प्लेलिस्ट नहीं है तो मतलब पूरे उसके एपिसोड, उसने गेम कंप्लीट करा हुआ है बेसिकली, तो वहाँ पे जाके तुम देख सकते हो। बेसिकली एक्सप्लोर करना है, और इसी के साथ अम्मा आ चुकी है, और भगो भगो भगो। से भगलो बच गए। गया जीत गए। अच्छा स्टोरी लाइन सबनॉटिका की ना, वो ये है बेसिकली, आप वो एक एस्ट्रोनॉट और वो किसी और यूनिवर्स में, अब आप गए थे किसी प्लेनेट को एक्सप्लोर करने, पर वहाँ पे आपका प्लेन आपके एयर स्पेस क्राफ्ट पे अटैक होता है एक बारी, और वो क्रैश हो जाता है उस पे आया, उस प्लेनेट पे आके, उसके सी में, उस प्लेनेट के ओशंस में। अब वहाँ पे आपको सरवाइव करना है, एक्सप्लोर करना है, उसको रिसोर्सेज ढूंढने हैं और निकलना है वहाँ से बाहर उस प्लेनेट से। और इसी के साथ हम चेक करते हैं, स्पेक्टेट करते हैं ज़रा। थ्री थ्री 063 यहाँ पे 7863 30631 करा तो भाई हो ही नहीं रहा। ओके मैं उसके इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट लिख लूँगा। ओनली ऑन मिक्सर। ओके तो मिक्सर पे वैसे भी मेरा अकाउंट है। डेट एंड टाइम बता। ओके सिक्स थ्री 3063। ओके तो गेम बंद करते हैं यहाँ पे और मिक्सर ओपन करते हैं। फिर हम अपडेट शोकेस देखें अपना। और टाइटल भी चेंज कर लेते हैं। एक मिनट 2.1 तब तक मैं यहाँ पे कर लूँ साइन इन। About to start. Just a minute. पर इसकी क्वालिटी हम बढ़ा लें सर। 1080p करो यार। यार ये तूने अच्छा आइडिया दिया। टाइटल चेक कर जरा। और इसी के साथ हम ज़रा अब गेम से हटके हम डालते हैं एक और चीज़ इस पे ऐड करते हैं। Just a minute. Chrome, Google Chrome. होने दो लोड 2.01 लिख देते हैं, कोई नहीं। अब देखो मैं हटा रहा हूँ विंडो कैप्चर। वेयर इज ओके। आपको कुछ टाइम के लिए ब्लैक स्क्रीन आ रही होगी। ये असल में मैं चेंजेस कर रहा हूँ और गेम मेरा ये रहा। तो अब गेम प्ले होगा बंद कुछ टाइम के लिए और इसी के साथ मैं लगा रहा हूँ लाइव स्ट्रीम जो पैलेडिन्स के अपडेट 2.1 की है। बीच में तुम्हें मेरे स्क्रीन की स्क्रीन आएगी बीच में तुम्हारे। एक मिनट जस्ट। बीच बीच में ऑडियो जा रही है इनकी, अब वो मुझे नहीं पता क्यों। इसी के साथ F11
a lot that is going to go on throughout this one. There is tons of balance changes, a lot
मुझे बस ये नहीं समझ आ रहा कि इतनी
new content coming through. There's just so much. Rush Garrett, your typical, I guess, panel coming through later on. We will have Kevin joining us for some balance, but this is kind of the big one. I mean, this is 2.01. How are you guys feeling knowing season 2 is just right?
Coffee, but it could be the excitement.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
मैं एक बार रीलोड कर रहा हूँ, अब मुझे नहीं समझ आ रही क्यों ये
into this. But one of the big things that we've actually mentioned in the past that is coming through with this is the hunt. It's a big thing to go forward and kind of help make the game a little bit more polished. So what exactly is the hunt and how are we going to be pursuing that over 2019?
Yeah, so the
अभी अटक क्यों रहा है मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा.
The bugs that we're working on and the quality of life.
What the f...
Much as you do, and we're going to continue
720 पे कर रहा हूँ मैं इसे setting.
to improve the quality of the game to where at the end of 2019 Paladins is going to be in a better state than it's ever been before.
And that's one of those things, I mean, we had a hotfix yesterday coming through to help fix some of the issues that were going forward. I believe you posted the notes on those, but that's some downtime around like noon yesterday for us. But what other bug fixes are really kind of being tackled by the hunt?
So there's a multitude.
Yeah.
And just as Alyssa said, this is an ongoing process. It's software development, right? So the
किसका reward
first kind of focus is right is twofold. There's like bugs, gameplay issues, right? And there's also polish elements. The hunt represents both, all of which we believe are going to contribute to that better 2019 Paladins product. So for the polish fixes or the polish elements, which some of these will go into more detail later. The first one is like really nice quality of life features in the game that have been long requested. Specifically in this patch, guys, what we're doing, we've added map callouts. So we'll go into detail later on it, but this is a long requested thing that's prevalent in a lot of shooters and helps with the really invested players and improves gameplay experience. Some of the other elements is, and this one is, I'm really happy about this one. So bot improvements, right? And I want to emphasize that, again, just as we mentioned earlier, this is an ongoing process, but the first step in this is focusing on why our current bots get stuck on some maps. Nothing's more frustrating, right, than seeing just a train of things that could potentially have helped you in that last team fight you guys lost, all stuck in a corner, right, or against a pillar. So what we've done in this first step is limited and really focused on the logic of bots unsticking themselves and being able to navigate away from these poor situations.
So just making a callback to the callouts that you were mentioning, is that every map for this patch that's going to have that? Every siege map that's coming through is going to have those callouts enabled. And I've seen you reaching out on like social media, so this is stuff that is going to be kind of a mix of player and dev. Like this is what it should be called.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have necessarily all of the suggestions for all of the maps in any one time because there's a lot of callouts.
There's a ton of maps.
However, like let me take a look at these ones. Let me know what you guys think. We're open to
फिर से नहीं यार.
Changed if the community rises up and is like, yo, this callout has to be squidging or like and right now you're calling it lower tunnel. We're like, we might be able to change something. We might be able to work it out.
So I guess keep your eyes open for those map callouts. It's going to be able to help you know where you are, I think, a little bit better and being able to call out more people. But there's other things. You mentioned the pathfinding bot, but the big one, I think, is that we're fixing event multipliers. So how were they working, Alyssa, and how are they going to be working after this patch?
Yeah, so they weren't really working the way they were supposed to. For example, when we ran a double XP or double gold event, it was being added after your battle pass XP boosters. It just basically wasn't being calculated correctly. So now every time that we run a double gold event or a triple battle pass XP event, you will be seeing double or triple. It's just going to be concise, not kind of weird math, like weird mystery math like it was before.
Yes, more experience, more gold.
You're going to get more gold. That's always better. More gold is always better. I can guarantee whether you're a pirate or not, that is always something that I think is going to stand true. But one of the other big things that's happening, and this is just in general for 2019, not just necessarily this patch, but an extended PTS cycle, just longer time with the PTS up for players to play on. What exactly is the goal, I guess, extending this to be longer?
More focus, right? More time for the community to go through the content. Kind of part of this, right, is having tons and thousands of different people from all different kinds of hardware from all over the world and different latencies and different servers, all kind of testing our product and giving us the opportunity to improve it for their individual use cases. And I want to give a shout out too, is like part of the hunt is kind of a group effort, right? I would love to like triple the traffic in our bug reporting forum. This is something we actively watch and are going to continue to do so and continue to focus on. So as part of the hunt, guys, like let's get some back and forth here. These things you see, tell us how it's happening, tell us why it's happening. work with our QA representatives on the forums, and we will solve all of these issues with your guys' help. And it's not only going forward, there's actually still more things that we actually have fixed that I want to touch on too. So specifically for this release, there are numerous cases of damage reduction that actually wasn't applying when things were listed as being reduced by Haven or Blast Shields. I'm looking at, Buck Net Shot, Maeve Pounce, Ash Shoulder Bash, Leon Grace, Zin Spite, Strix Flare, Talus Blitz Upper, Con Commander's Grab. All of these things are now going to be appropriately have their damage reduced by the correct item type where it wasn't before.
Okay.
So good ads there. If you've been paying attention to our hotfixes, you've noticed that we fixed some of the collision issues with Warder's Gate, both in falling through the floor instances and also the circumstances that led to the point being essentially perma-locked in, like over time or not being captured properly. And I'm going to gloss over, there's a lot here, guys. Like,
40 pages, I believe, of notes was the
total.
total.
Yes, I know. So I'm trying to be quick. I'm trying to be specific. We have a lot to go through. Willow, we've isolated and identified some of the issues that was leading to sluggish and slow acceleration and movement in her ult. So we fixed that. It should be much smoother, much faster, and also understand that the functionality of Willow's ult is that you go where your crosshair's looking. So if you're looking and shooting down, you're going to travel down. So that also can attribute to some of the slow feeling when your camera's being looked at the ground. What's another big one? Oh, presence. So Leon has an issue right now where partially obscured targets, when a presence shot, the charge up one should have landed but didn't. It was a bug that had to do with the collision being partially obstructed by something. But that is now sorted out.
Okay.
What else?
तो अगर किसी का presence अटक जाता था, किसी हल्के से
you can tell by the scrolling how much he's having to glance over. I think it's one of those things that's actually a really good note. No matter what you come up with, there's going to be more that you can read after this, because even with some of the balance changes with anything that's coming through, there's so much packed into this. We could not fit 40 pages of content into even 2 hours. So otherwise, unless you want to be sitting here for literally the rest of the day, I think that's an important thing to remember, that after this, make sure you go read like the full notes to see everything.
And the last bit I want to end with, just because this is important and we want to focus on it, is our current investigation section. This is where we're going to be like, hey guys, we know this thing exists. We see feedback on these things present in the game all the time, and we just want to make sure that you don't feel like your guys' reports are falling on deaf ears. It's just we don't have a solve for them right now, but are dedicating resources and time to do it. Obviously, right now, a lot of the big ones are kind of disconnect issues in match lobby regarding the instance failing or players being kicked out and then receiving deserter. That is something that we'll be attributing fixes and reworks to how the match lobby is written in code. That should eliminate that in the near future. Terminus, we are also looking into a bevy of kind of the issues present with him. First off, Massacre Axe, right? There can be sometimes a client-server desync where you are wildly swinging, right, faster than normal, but no hits are landing. We realize this, we are looking at it. Power Siphon also. So shots traveling through it, things traveling through it when normally it shouldn't be. This is under investigation. Shatterfall being stuttery or kind of looping you throughout the arc. Known, undergoing investigation and resources. Reanimate, this is the big one, right? It is a source of these problems because it tries to do a lot of wild things like coming back from death, which is challenging. So Terminus can appear to move while Reanimate is firing. Activate and Reanimate after being con-ulted teleports Terminus. Terminus is forced to ult in circumstances or can't ult in other circumstances. Terminus acting oddly with spawn doors, or Terminus receive targeting healing after death. These are all things we're aware of. Thank you for the feedback. Again, if you want to go to our bug forums and kind of spell out the instances in which you've experienced this, that would benefit us greatly as we go and search for the solutions. So Con Commander's Grab also is another thing where I'm sure, this gets me so hard. When you hit that Commander's Grab, go forward, don't actually hit the target, and then go through the throw animation as you're just rooted there getting shot. Really frustrating. We know we're trying to solve it. And then also, the last one I'm going to talk about here before we kick off, sorry for babbling so much, but Shaolin, we know there's an FPS issue where playing this character progressively over time sometimes tanks players' FPS. This one is also obscenely hard to pin down, so any clarity on how you guys can reproduce this issue would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. So head over to those bug forums. If you're like, oh, every time I play Shaolin, this is what happens, talk to us, let us know. We would greatly appreciate you can make the game better.
It's one of those things, like the more info, the better, right? Like if you want, like these are the settings I was playing on, these are like the specs of my computer,
this is
things
where I'm
like
located.
that. Like
this is my
every
computer.
single thing that
this
you
is
can
what happened
have
before I saw the FPS. There's like so many things that can lead to these very numerable variations that all there's never enough information you can give us.
So the hunt, that's the ongoing thing. Again, like you said, there's a lot of bugs that are known but are still being like identified, tracked down, trying to figure out how do we reproduce these before we can actually figure out what's causing them. So that is why it is the overall 2019 goal to kind of just overall fix these things, get it better, and make the game to be in a much better state.
It's really our top priority going forward, and like they said, you can find the full list on the patch notes on paladins.com. A lot more that we haven't covered today. Too much to talk about.
Yeah, and actually the big one that I guess everyone's kind of been waiting for about a month or so now is Imani, who is also going to be coming in this patch, and we actually have her reveal cinematic that you might have seen, might not have seen a month ago at HRX, but this is going to be the introduction to Imani.
Okay, Imani को इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं लोग.
A warder? But how?
We're back.
मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि अल्टीमेट में ट्रांसफॉर्म होगी और ट्रांसफॉर्म होकर कोई अटैक करेगी.
So yes, that is a dragon, and that is in the game. That is going to be something that happens. So, I mean, who is Imani? Like, tell me about what she is as a champion. You can see right there, I mean, multicolored, stand switching. Like, who exactly is she?
So Imani is one of the last of the warders. Basically, sort of this ancient civilization race of powerful mages that originally tamed the dragon scourge once upon a time in the realm. She wields a great power, obviously. Stand switching is a thing. Power over the elements, as well as command over dragons.
And this is something that has been kind of like built up in game for a long time.
We work on it for a bit.
It's been a long ways coming.
We dropped the first hints originally back with Dragon's Call. In fact, internally we kind of referred to the dragon in Dragon's Call as like an elder dragon that had been imprisoned by warders some time ago. And the gauntlets kind of originate from that island that later show up in Dredge's cinematic, as he tried to wield the power, but it didn't go too well for him.
And so, I mean, as it's been mentioned, like she's, a stance switcher, and that's something I think that we'll get more in depth with later when we actually look at her abilities, look at her talents. But I mean, going forward with her, the design, the art style, the dragon, like what was it like? I mean, just bringing a dragon to life in the realm that, I mean, Drogo's kind of counts, but really the first real one.
Wow.
He doesn't even have his own wings. Come on.
Well, at least on the art side, we knew early on we had a really cool mage character, and we wanted her to basically call down a dragon. And my personal push for art was it has to be big, or wasn't worth doing.
It's big.
It scared everyone. We had to solve a lot of problems with that dragon, but ultimately it came out amazing. So
it's
now,
so cool.
Yeah, like she has one of the scariest ults in the game just in pure presentation alone.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying.
Like it just rounds a corner. You're like, oh my god.
There's this giant dragon barreling down the map at me.
Well, we're a fantasy game, right? You need dragons.
That was actually something I think, Garrett, that you've mentioned in the past, that this is kind of like the bridge, right? You said that Paladins is in this unique area where it's a shooter, so you can have some of the elements that you've seen in other shooters, but it's also fantasy, so you're going to get something else, and this is so deep.
Yeah, she embodies what makes Paladin unique as a product, right? Like, we have those shooter mechanics. You are landing shots as you're tracking your crosshair against the thing, but it's done through the lens of this fantasy world that we've established, and Imani does that so well. She allows you to take on the visage of this elemental stance swapping mage, and you are hurling fireballs like no game has ever hurled fireballs, and it's so well integrated into what it like core shooter fundamentals, and it works seamlessly. I'm really proud of the team and what they've done. Both stances are unique, have defined play styles. The movement. I'm getting ahead of myself.
There's a lot, I
She's
think, that
awesome.
comes through.
Yes.
We can dive into the abilities. I believe we have a turnaround that we can actually show to see Amani more. Not just the art, not just the video, but actually what she will look like when it comes forward with it. So if we can throw that up, that's going to be coming up in just a second. And I mean, this has been phenomenal. Like, just something that's coming through. You can see stance switching coming forward. And we have some voice lines.
Those who would seek to harm you shall suffer a dragon's judgment. For my people, I will do anything necessary.
Nice.
Do not mistake me for weak. Guns. So primitive. Bless the elements. Did you freeze or burn? Frost and fire grant me strength.
So a lot of fun references to her being able to use both frost and fire.
Yeah.
And a lot, I like the little nod, like guns being primitive to her, even though you said like the warders are kind of older than that tech.
Black Panther जैसा.
Well, it's a more elegant than a gun.
Like pulling a trigger
so
versus summoning the embodiment of flame in the palm of my hand. Come on, Gore. Like,
freeze.
You're already at the top. I mean, a gun's just, irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I guess we can just go ahead and let's and go in game and look at the abilities, look what everything has that she has going forward with her. So, Garrett, just walk me through, like, what does Amani have in her kit?
So she has a diverse set of abilities. She at her core, right, is a damage dealer, and she deals a lot of damage. Right now on screen, you are looking at the Frost Enhance. So this is a faster paced stance than Fire, and really about this kind of rhythm as you're throwing out each of these icicles that you're summoning from thin air in front of your face. Like, it feels so smooth, it's so good. So the cool part here is, before we actually get into depth on the other stuff, she has a passive mechanic that is directly tied into her enhance and her damaging abilities. So you can see on the UI here is that as she's dealing damage with these frost bolts, that her mana bar is charging 1, 2, 3, and then she gets a proc, where she gets a clear casted version of her current in-hand, which is a fast, almost instantaneous version of that in-hand. And it works for Frost, and it works for Fire. And you weave these into your gameplay. For Frost, they kind of just shoot out as you're tracking normally. So it's like bam, 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 bam. And it's really awesome and rhythmic. It feels so good. And Fire is an entirely different shooting mechanic. Similar to Shaolin's, if you played that character, where it's a charge shot. So starting low, this isn't something you tap, right? This is something that you build up. And currently you have, this guy's a talent equipped. Can we get a minimum charge shot fired? A non-hold. So if you look, let me see the projectile. Can we get the projectile? So as you charge up, the projectile itself even gets bigger to tell the player that the longer you hold it, the more damage it's gonna do. And then the full charge is a larger projectile, and the projectile itself, like, it's not even just visual, it's actually larger, so it's easier to hit the longer you charge it as well. But you still gotta land these shots. These are all actual projectiles. God, the rhythm, like the smoothness of those animations is so good. Shout out to the animation team.
Yeah, Jim
It
and his team
feels like
crushed
I'm
shaky सा लग रहा
I'm
है.
actually a mage.
You're a caster.
and that's like the whole point, right? That's bringing something new. Most everyone else has some sort of weapon. Like, you occasionally get to either hit someone with a giant axe or punch them, but this is the first
Fireball.
full, like, cast.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through the passes, we've gone through the in-hands, how they're distinctly mechanically different and define each of the roles. Ice is that faster paced, higher DPS stance, but Fire is a slower pace but more burst stance. Now let's go to the alt fire in Frost. So your alt fire in Frost is called Frost Bomb. What he's gonna do is lob out this large projectile and then detonate it in midair.
So good.
It's a giant lumbering projectile that locks you out. Amani is locked out while that is in the air. So you have to choose wisely when you want to use this. However, it is a powerful ability because it applies a damage. So the further it goes away from you, the more damage it does, capping at a total of 800. It also applies Root. This is a damage character with essentially on-demand CC. Granted, this is a long cooldown, about 20 seconds or so. Both of the alt fires in each of the stances is very powerful, and they have longer cooldowns. But that's Frost Bomb. And now let's do Fire. Let's line these bots up to show the true qualities.
When they come back. It's not often that you truly get to hit about 10 Cassies in a row
So
with an
Inferno
ability.
Cannon is the name of this alt fire device. And just like the name, it is going to emit a beam of fire from your hands. Think of this like planted, but a little different. So you're actually doing less DPS and less damage overall than Shaolin's plane did. However, it's applying an instant trace, and the big qualifiers here is that it pierces. So if you can line up enemies in a corridor, line up enemies on a point, you can turn the tide of battle with your alt fire, and it's very powerful. It's a lot of fun. However, it does zero you out wherever you are in terms of velocity, so you are going to be motionless when you're in Inferno Cannon.
So if you jump, it will hold you like in the air if you're like falling down, or
absolutely.
Maybe you go off one of the lifts on the side. Like, so you can kind of use that for immediate positioning, either advantage or disadvantage, depending on when you happen to pop it.
That is correct. It can be very good, and also it can get you killed real quickly. So yeah, that shows right there the kind of the width of the beam.
Yeah.
It feels so good to use. But be careful with it. And also, both of your alt fires charge your mana as well. So you can proc a clear cast in your alt fire or from your alt fire, and then follow up with an instant spell directly after. It's a really great combo. Boom. So I think that covers the alt fires. Now let's go to the movement ability. This is one of my favorite movement abilities.
So cool.
In the game.
That's awesome.
I remember I got, as I normally do, I got very excited when pitching this early on. Like, we have an elemental person that can summon ice, right? Like, it's a legally distinct version of a theme that has been seen in before. I'll give you that. But the way we executed on this ability feels so good.
Yeah.
Can we get some carving? Give me some carving here, Charles.
It's also a nice little detail just to see like that she's using her fire to propel herself, that there's a little bit of like lift. Like, it's just the small things that make it feel better.
The ice is the air surfboard, and the fire is the jet booster, like pushing behind it. And just like any movement ability, you can kind of amplify the strength of this through your loadout pretty extensively, actually. It's a lot of fun. And an interesting mechanical nuance here. Oh, she's just like grinding. You just like.
I actually have a feeling that there might be like the first day Imani comes out, there's going to be very little gameplay. A lot of people just trying to do any skate tricks they possibly
It's so relaxing to just like equip the duration cards and like put cooldown on and then just fly around. Just fly around our maps on this board.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. But the interesting mechanical thing is that, so she's a damage character, and balance-wise, this is a very effective relocation tool. So there are some limiting factors that I want to bring to the forefront. This works best if you you get the most distance if you travel in a straight line. If you try and turn, just as you suffer some friction, right? So flailing wildly while you're flying will result in you not going that far, actually. But if you set up the vector at which you want to travel preemptively, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck. And you can't go like straight up, because like you can't surf straight up. Come on, it's a nice board.
It would be kind of that fun, like where if you're strafe, like you're trying to get away from someone who's shooting at you, you're gonna lose some distance, but maybe you don't get hit. But if you just need to get out, you'd rather just go straight, even if it means taking a couple of blows.
Yeah, absolutely. Charles, give me a Frostfire glide into an Inferno Cannon, because this is how you set up the Inferno Cannon for some really dope things. Because like I said, Inferno Cannon zeroes you out wherever you are. This includes in 3D space. So you can essentially turn, flick. Oh, Charles, you
and land on the floor.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that later, Charles. That's okay.
Oh no!
I will say he did do it earlier, but I don't. But now that he's like
catch it on camera?
Under duration, it was on camera, but it was just
I
like.
believe you. This is not something you do like just back and forth. So you have to be informed about when the best time to swap your stances is. And you can reduce this through cards. You can attach benefits to it through cards. But it's not something that's free, which is an important part of playing Imani well.
And you'd said the cooldown on the alt fire was relatively large as well. So is that something that's like universal? Like both the fire and ice stance has the same.
Both of those abilities have a long cooldown. They are both very powerful. Can turn the tides of the fight. Now, Charles, I think it's time. I think it's time for.
Okay, no, I guess yeah, he's going for it. He's prepared.
Oh gosh.
What's about to happen?
Unfortunately for anyone at home, you probably won't be able to destroy this many Cassis.
Roast him, Charles! Roast him all!
If you've ever wanted to level a small village in Paladins, you now have the opportunity.
You can now.
Poor
do it.
Cassie.
Oh my god, look at this dragon!
It's so cool.
Oh, the sounds, guys! I can't tell you how pleased I am with the feeling that we've captured with this ult right here. Like, it feels like nothing else in Paladins. You are actually soaring through the game as a dragon, leveling your enemies.
And so Imani is kind of directing the dragon, but you could see her model still on the ground. Is she still vulnerable during?
Oh, she's still vulnerable.
Yeah.
She's still vulnerable, guys.
If
If you don't transform into the
disappear?
dragon, yes.
Oh.
So that's a great thing to point out here. So this is a high risk, high reward ultimate. You get a very powerful dragon, as you saw. That bad boy or bad girl has 7,500 health. That's a lot of dragon meat to get through.
Yep.
However, it's also a large freaking hitbox. Anyone and their mother can hit this dragon from basically across the map. Doesn't move particularly fast, but it's very deadly. And all the while you're controlling this, Imani is stationary and very vulnerable, controlling the spell that's piloting this dragon, and she's focusing on giving the dragon instructions to kind of attack the enemies. Killing her, and as you can, should be a HUD indicator for Imani if she's getting damaged while she's still channeling this, and it's you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it because you can die pretty fast in Paladins, especially if you're not moving still.
Imani खुद नहीं ट्रांसफॉर्म होती, वो इसे बुलाती है और वो इसे कंट्रोल कर रही होती है.
Or a capture point. And probably
Imani को मार दिया.
Lose a fight real quickly because you waste an ultimate, you die.
Yeah.
Imani को मार दिया. तो ये भी खत्म हो जाएगा.
And then where's your team fight?
ये risk है.
I will say the one thing, and this is something I think that Paladins has going for it, but the fire on this looks so amazing.
It's already shout out to VFX. That's Frostfire, baby.
Frostfire.
So not only is it high ticking damage, because it's Frostfire, it also slows.
Yeah.
So you're able to, like, it's a lot of damage and a slow, and it's an ult, so it's definitely something that's worthwhile, but the entire point is not only being able to summon this dragon, but also the fact that there's a pretty decent counterplay to it, and that you can just go kill Imani. Like, okay, I'm just gonna go
You kill the dragon too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, if you need to.
How many times in your pro games, right?
Hard to burn through.
But how many times have you seen a Makoa get evaporated when he ults? With the proper coordination, like, this dragon is bigger than Makoa, easier to hit, has a giant tail, has to come from you, because typically people summon it, right, from further away.
Yeah.
So you know it's coming the most of the time. So pay attention.
It also has its own kind of control scheme as well, so you got to learn how to actually play as the dragon.
Absolutely, playing as the dragon is important. So you pilot by looking, right, and then you move up and down on multiple ways actually, depending on what your controller input is. So on like a gamepad controller, your left trigger you're gonna go down, and your left bumper you're gonna go up. So really simple. Your locomotion controls are on one hand, and then right trigger is your fire. So it's really easy to kind of understand, feels fluid and great to play. On PC, we've actually done you a couple options for you. So Q and F, as you can see right there, have some up and down arrows. Q is going to make your dragon rise, F is going to make your dragon fall.
Okay, तो Q से dragon up
or
जाएगा.
spacebar is going to make your dragon rise, and right click, because the dragon doesn't have an alt fire, is going to make your dragon fall. So it's very fluid, very fun to pilot.
Is that something you have to set up, or is that just universally either one's going to work?
Yeah, universally either one's going to work.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So a lot of control there, and a lot
Q
of
से ऊपर
fun
ले आ
becoming
सकते हो और F से
dragon.
नीचे या फिर space से ऊपर और right click से नीचे.
I'm imagining being on the other side, like the
ये दो
receiving
controller
end of the
PC पे.
dragon. When you're standing there, you're on the point.
I don't
like,
have
we
to
just
imagine. I
maybe
can
just
tell you,
won-
it's
terrifying.
Just won this awesome team fight, and then all of a sudden, around the corner comes this massive dragon ready to burn you down.
Yes.
Yep.
But with 7,500 health, and you had mentioned this is something I think just to
ये
point it out,
payload
with
जब
like
push
dude,
होने वाला
percentage
होगा ना वहाँ पे से
damage things hurt.
वहाँ
So
पे
like
बड़ा area
debilitate, all of a sudden Sky is going to be able to chunk
या
that
तो
valuable
point capture
counter.
होने वाला होगा, payload push होने वाला होगा.
And also it's worth mentioning
Push
teammates,
successful
you can't
होने
buff
वाला
the
होगा
dragon.
तब.
The dragon
No Torvald shield?
effectively operates in the same way a Ying illusion does, where you can't heal it, you can't like Furia ult it, and you can't bubble it. So you're not going to get any support. You have to use the dragon's power in kind of a vacuum.
I think you just saved a lot of people mentioning that you can't Fury ult with the dragon as well. That would probably be one of the scariest things to have to fix. That combo. You're in picks and bans and ranked, and you see that get double picked, and you're just like, all right, well, you know, guys, it was fun 6 minutes that we're about to have, but we'll come back with it. But yeah, so a lot that's going on for Amani. And I mean, that's not even all. Like, this has just been her base skin, the base dragon. There's also going to be her recolor and her mastery skin coming out with her. And the thing about it is that the dragon is also getting recolored. Yes. So it's this whole new kit, I guess, a whole new look for her.
And is that with the weapon skin, Ray?
That is with the weapon. So the dragon recolor itself is attached to the weapon. So you can swap her gauntlets out as the weapon, but the recolor focus is on the dragon.
Is the mastery skin a giant gold dragon?
Well, why wouldn't it be? It's got to be rich.
Thank you.
I got so absorbed in looking at the art that I completely forgot that she has talents too. The dragon's not like the dragon's not the big thing, and she also has talent
in our game
that is going through. And I think you actually had said that you already spotted one that has been chosen here.
Yeah. I think he had Pyromania equipped currently. Or no, he's got Splitting Ice. Yep. So right now, the Frost in-hand that you can see bounces. So Splitting Ice is one that makes your in-hand bounce to a nearby target. This is good for AoE. Like, Frost is all about this kind of rhythm where you're like hitting these shots, and this gives you kind of a way to really capitalize on clustered enemies, especially in tandem with a well-placed Frost Bomb. If you can root a group of enemies by themselves and then throw a bunch of bouncing ice bolts into them, you can have some really devastating effects. It's so much fun to
OP lag rahi hai abhi.
Capitalize on that element. Ice is terrifying, guys. Ice is a great stance to play. We saw actually favoritism, at least in internal playtest, to fire, which was odd. And if we can equip that Pyromania. All right. So what Pyromania does, as you can see below the mana bar right there, successful hits with your Pyreball, and it's not Fireball, it's Pyreball, makes the third hit explode in an AoE. So you can actually kind of gamify this. What you can do is low charge the 2 preparatory hits required to trigger the AoE, and then full charge the AoE hit for a really interesting play style. But it's devastating, it's effective, you can nuke people around corners. Like Fire Stance is a lot to play. Like Fire Stance is about like kind of these big windups and like scary damage. Frost is like faster play style with more control.
And then you can see, like, I guess, like the drawback, like you said, you can throw out the 1-2, but you're not getting a whole ton of damage spread. But that full charge AoE blast, like, is going to be potentially impactful if everyone
especially
decides
if you
to stay
time it with
up.
a clear cast, my man. Like, if you get one hit, and your second hit sends you over to into the clear cast threshold, so your third hit is an instant cast AoE Fireball. Oh.
So amazing. A lot that I guess could be like min-maxing between all of this to make it so that she is potentially a lot more devastating than would truly line up. But it's like when the stars align, everything goes right for Amani.
Or you intelligently play, right? You can build her loadout to emphasize certain aspects of it. You can build like a fire-focused loadout, Frostfire Glide specific loadout, or a stance swapping loadout. And also, it's worth mentioning that so her fire stance charge is 50% longer than Shaolin's for the same amount of damage. This is an interesting thing that you really have to consider when comparing apples to apples or oranges, fruit.
Apples to apples, oranges.
Shaolin is like a 1 second, 0.9 second buildup for 1,000 damage that travels very fast. Hers is 1.6 second charge up for the same amount of damage and a slower projectile. So it is an interesting balance point right there to consider.
And so we've seen, I guess, her ice being able to kind of. So far, it seems like Kraken seems to be in there, but she has another talent that's going to be.
There's one more talent. So this is something brand new. We haven't really done this mechanic ever. This is called Mana Rift. So what this is if you remain stationary as Amani for 2 seconds, her presence and her manipulation of the otherworldly forces that give her the ability to wield these elements manifests like where she's standing after 2 seconds, creating a mana rift that charges her mana bar when you're close to it. So look at it going up. He's not damaging anyone, but he's getting free mana. So this can really, if you're allowed to like set up get this mana rift down, you essentially become this like turd-esque playstyle where you're confined to a small area, but you can potentially unleash some devastating damage. And the caveat is that if you step out of range of this thing, it disappears instantly, gone. And you then have to remain stationary again for another 2 seconds to reactivate it.
And so there's a lot of things I see, and I guess this was kind of like a balancing point, not only for the talent, but just some of her abilities, where it's just like, you're stuck. You are here. This is where you have to stand. But if you get a good position or a bad position, like that's either going to make or break your team fight. That's going to make or break your gameplay.
Yep, absolutely.
And one noticeable thing about all these talents is they offer such unique and diverse play styles. And that's something we'll talk about later on the stream, how that's something we really have planned for all of the champions' talents. There's 3 of them, and every single one is so different, right? It's not just like, oh, increased damage. Like, you are going to have a different experience with every single one of these talents for Imani.
And there's so much that's going on. You had even kind of hinted at having cards where you can build like, I'm going to go fire, I'm going to go ice, or I'm going to go stand switch. So like there's a way to really kind of make her your own champion. You can play, you want to be like an ice mage, you can be an ice mage.
Her cards are good, guys. Go look at her cards. Like they're pretty nutty.
This is going to be, I think, probably one of the best champions, probably the best reason to start out Season 2 with Imani, because she is bringing so much uniqueness. And I think a really, like you have mentioned countless times, a really unique element to Paladins that is so unique to Paladins as well. So it's just perfect. And that is going to be what I believe is her recolor coming through. So she loses the hair, but she gains a little bit more.
Yeah, it's such a really cool silhouette change,
Black
right?
Panther पे जा रही है
She had like
super impactful,
the gorgeous like giant locks previously, in kind of that dragon's tail-esque silhouette.
We jokingly called it the dragon's braid.
Yep. And this one, it's like, nah, she's streamlined for combat. Makes her more aerodynamic.
I think she looks so powerful in this splash art. I love it.
Yeah. She's such a badass.
And I think we've got a turnaround for this one as well, so you can see it. And this isn't just like a regular recolor. As you can see, this is an actual model change to her hair.
And so, I mean, just based on, you know, the small things that I've been able to pick up over time about the design, that means like there's just a couple of things. If you, I guess, in her original model, like, is there still going to be maybe a hitbox behind her head, or is that like going to change? Like, does having hair and not having hair make anything different?
No, it doesn't change any gameplay at all.
There she is standing. I mean, both of these skins come through, and with the change in, I guess, like some color scheme, the dragon is changing as well in this.
Yes. This is the sort of red take on the dragon, like a more fire-oriented dragon.
Yeah, no, it's sick in game.
And then we also have the gold skin that is going to be coming out with her, and that, you know, with standard, I guess, level 50.
I expect to see a lot of players with level 50 Imani's.
Well, I mean, now that the gold is going to be fixed for all those event multipliers, when you're able to get that, you're probably going to use that to level up.
Look at that dragon.
To get a gold
dragon.
Historically, like, dragons like gold.
Yep.
So why wouldn't a dragon want to be made of gold?
Makes sense.
Armor-plated gold, or a gold armor-plated dragon.
You know, we don't have to specify.
Just loves gold, man.
Just being able to come through, but that skin's been coming through, and I will say the gold skins lately have been killing it. Like, I actually lost all of my gold previously when Furia came out. That's where all mine went in. And then when Dredges came out, I was like, I don't actually have enough to level myself up to get this skin I want. I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and play. But I don't think anyone's going to have a problem doing that with Imani.
I hope not.
But that is going to be one of the biggest ones. And again, you can look at all of the other details or kind of read through the abilities, get all of the numbers, the cooldowns, the damage, everything in the patch notes after this. But we still have more content. That's not even all of it. This is 40 minutes into the show.
Yes.
There's been bug fixes in Imani, but now we also have another battle pass that is going to be coming to this. This is the Battle Suit Battle Pass. So what is the theme for this overall, Garrett?
Okay, so
Battle Pass
interesting to go real hard on thematic elements for our battle passes. It's something we really enjoy doing. Our users respond to it really well. So our take on this one is we created a universe inspired kind of by this like anime mecha galactic conflict overtone, and it's really freaking cool.
It's so awesome.
So I mean, with everything in this, like the galaxy is involved, right? It's become this entire thing for not just the realm anymore. It's not just, hey, we happen to be in Frog Isle, but like everybody is involved.
Yes. So you have two forces pitted in this struggle of advanced weaponry and elite soldiers, right? You have the PDF, which is the Paladins Defense Force, and the Imperial Magistrate. The PDF is kind of the quotation marks Earth-based entity, right? They're on Realm Alpha, which is the realm, but its own planet. And then the Imperial Magistrate kind of governs and controls the outerlying space systems, right? They're responsible for the traffic and all the industry for
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
And there's
Most like
needs
it.
for security for both parties. So each one has these kind of mechanized units that have been built up, and then their soldiers have been trained to use them. And that's what we're turning our characters into for this battle pass. Those are the skins. So they're going to be the suits that are elements from both of these forces.
And so all these kind of follow that theme. But before we get into, I guess, what you get, how much is this going to cost? And like, how long is this going to run for people to be able to kind of accrue the battle pass?
So this battle pass is 600 crystals, just like our past ones, but you will gain 150 crystals as you progress through the battle pass. So in total, you're really only going to spend about 450 crystals.
And at the very beginning, you get a new mount that gets to come through. You get an alpha speeder, the way things are coming. And this is in there just for buying. So, I mean, 600 crystals immediately gets you this. If you were watching the stream yesterday, you immediately caught like literally half of a second at most of a glimpse of this. But it was something that comes through. We have, the turnaround to be able to kind of come through and look at it. But,
SPD को Mystic Force के साथ जोड़ दिया.
Yeah, brand new mount type. Every other mount we have in the game currently is some kind of creature and or beast. This is our first kind of vehicle-based mount.
And this is going to be like the
Mystic
first
Force Power
opportunity for
Rangers में था
anyone. Like, if
जोड़ने
you
वाला.
can manage to
उसको
not
SPD के साथ
get
जोड़
dismounted
दो.
when you get out of base, like you can drive around the maps, kind of like tour,
cruise,
show off exactly what your new alpha speeder
your
is.
squad, right? Just cruising in your speeders.
Riding, looking good.
And this is on Realm Alpha. This is what they ride. This is
what they
the
ride.
normal commute occurs on.
So I know this is actually something that I think this is more of a personal interest, but just for anyone who wonders, because I remember when we were talking about like the battle cat being introduced, there was a whole new aspect that had to be done. Like you had to get new animations for everybody on the mounts. The same kind of effort had to go in for the alpha speeder.
Yeah, every time we take on a new mount, it's a significant amount of work. So it's a high value item, and we want to make sure it feels really cool, really distinct in of itself. So one mount to the next should feel very different.
Yeah. And again, for anyone watching, that is something that you get immediately when you
जिस चीज को
purchase the
अपडेट शो
battle pass.
देखना
Don't have to
हो
level anything up,
के
don't have
साथ
to worry
अपने
about
दोस्तों के
it.
साथ.
Everything else, though, you get to level up. And the first one is the Battlesuit Eagle Eye Kinessa. And Garrett, you seemed very excited about this skin.
I might be a little jazzed.
I can see why. That looks amazing.
Look at that.
Yeah.
First off, that's Kinessa.
Yeah, Kinessa got a
We
skin,
got
guys.
you, Kinessa players. We got you. Sorry it took so
Long-awaited.
long. Yeah. Battlesuit Eagle. Oh, I should shut up because we probably have voice
अब लाया
lines,
इतनी बढ़िया
I
skin
think we
एक.
have in a second, but I want to say, like, you had mentioned, like,
Finally,
she's kinda
Kinessa की इतनी
the
बढ़िया
rising
skin.
star of the
Yeah,
colonies.
so she is a part of the PDF, right, on the Paladins Defense Force, and she's kind of this new fiery upstart that's kind of gotten access to pilot this suit, this battle suit, and she actually idolizes and wants to compete with one of the characters later in the PDF that is also getting a skin.
So I think we also have like the turnaround for it, and you had mentioned we'll have a couple of voice lines, but if you have anything you want to interject, feel free.
Let her roll.
The way things are going.
This war through force. That's the mission I've taken upon myself. Eagle Eye, we'll do it together. That's right. That's truly all I am now. Battlesuit Eagle Eye, ready for launch! Eagle Eye never lets me down. Yeah! You know what 10 hours in a battlesuit smells like? Invest in one of those suit fresheners. Realm Alpha has the best scent. I don't care if your battlesuit is better. Today I'm beyond that. I strike like a bird of prey. You all get to watch how I became an ace.
And so that's kind of like the big, I guess, reveal that, most of these skins, they're kind of like mech suit oriented, and this is like the first one, which looks phenomenal.
Not again.
Set up position for sniping. We wanted the suits itself to feel kind of utilitarian.
चलो.
And so everything, like,
वगैरह सब पुराना.
obviously gameplay is still going to be the same, but you do
All the
get a
same.
very sick looking rifle. I mean, that is awesome to be able to come through with it. And I mean, this was something like said, kind of sleek, scout oriented, makes a lot of sense for a sniper to come through, and that.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, already, like, so you get a mount, and you're getting this Kinessa. have is the Battlesuit Angel Fury as well. Woo. So I guess for all of these, you were looking at Mexicans, obviously.
Yeah.
And this one, I mean, the color scheme, the wings look phenomenal. The sword is amazing. So when you were like, I guess, making the design for this one, what was it like being able to create that?
Oh, super exciting. I'm a huge sci-fi mech fan, so this was right in my wheelhouse personally. And when we knew we were going to get Fury a skin, we knew we had to go big on this one especially. So this is the sort of like the prime battle suit of the PDF force itself. Like this is the suit all the other young pilots kind of look up to in awe as like, you know, this is just so awesome.
Yeah.
It's very iconic too.
Oh, it's so cool.
I mean, that art on its own, like just standing above, kind of like standing, you can see the
perspective is really cool.
The sun, like everything about that just kind of ekes power out with it. And I think we have the turnaround actually ready to be able to watch and see what she looks like, I guess, as a model.
Orders, Command? Command. Guess I'm on my own. No, not the blue screen, not the blue screen! It takes a lot to be a battlesuit pilot. You need to push your body to the limit, study your enemies doggedly, and yell at the top of your lungs for hours non-stop. One day I'll face the Magistrate's 3 dark aces. But first we have to beat the 4 blue kings, 8 orange queens, and 22 maroon jacks. You will pay for your crimes against the people of Realm Alpha. Make the impossible possible. We're in this together.
That one voice line, because like you said, a lot of this was kind of like based on what you would see, like anime tropes, kind of things like that.
It's very self-aware.
And that one made me laugh more because there's actually one that I'd watched recently where the entire idea was that powers of 2 were the number of enemies to the point where it got to 65,000. And it got out of hand really fast. But I mean, the color scheme, the way this weapon looks, the way this suit looks,
look at that sword.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I really hope you guys have good audio on stream right now because that is one of my. It's like.
Just so powerful.
I love it. Like the VFX are gorgeous. That reload is like slick and kind of airy. The sound is it's so good.
Star Wars की गन और उसका जिसमें आवाज आती है ना प्यू 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 उसको थोड़ा अच्छा बना दो.
Right? She is the ace of the PDF forces. She is the one Rafe mentioned that all the other pilots in part of the PDF kind of suit units look up to. And she has the rivalry with the Imperial Magistrate Ace, which is the later skin in this. Dude, do the beam, Charles.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout outs to our VFX artist.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
shit.
amazing.
So this beam is like specifically targeted, stylized to really embody the animation and visual effects style of a lot of the series that the mechs use. And I saw this and I immediately, like, my brain flashed scenes in my eyes where battle suits were shooting lasers from big rifles. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the beam.
Amazing.
And it was like, what more perfect character to do it on than Furia?
That's going to be the one that if you either miss that on someone or miss that as a heal for your teammate, then you're going to start having words. It's a little bit more difficult to miss seeing that beam moving through the map than anything else.
Well, for your allies, it is team colored. It is team colored.
अच्छा ये कि दिख जाती है आराम से. ये इसमें दिख जाएगी. Normal coloring में कभी-कभी दिखती नहीं है.
The, I guess, balls, the beams, the bullets that come through when you dash backwards as well.
अटक क्यों रही है बार-बार यार?
They're seeking proton torpedoes, maybe, in this one?
Sure.
इसलिए मुझे मिक्सर पसंद नहीं है. क्यों भाई? दुखी करने वाले काम करने इसने भी.
Ever want to hear super powerful.
फिर
But we have one more battlesuit to go forward with, and this is Battlesuit Godslayer Androxus. And this is going to be, well, as you could guess, an Androxus skin that comes through. Another one that is kind of kitted on the mech. And I like the way that his arm was tackled in this. That was actually one of the things that first popped into my mind was how exactly you could showcase, I guess, his curse still being as a mech.
Yeah. So with tackling an Androxus skin, the arm is super iconic. We always try to play up some aspect of it.
And for the Imperial Magistrate, he, like I said, he is the ace, right? For their mechanized forces. And he's got this kind of like nihilistic, I'm the best persona. As any, space mech pilot would that's on top of their game. But he was a real treat to make. He's pretty badass.
And we have we have the turnaround ready for this one as well. And so I'm guessing as we go to that, this is essentially the guy that, like, if you're just a standard character in the anime and you see him, you know that you're doomed.
You're done. You're done.
My destiny is smeared with blood, but history will celebrate my achievements today. Are your shields secure? Impressive. Not since Operation Fireball have I seen such slaughter. Hold your tongue, soldier. You're in the presence of an ace.
वाह और इसी के साथ फिर अटका क्यों इससे दिमाग खराब होता है
Going in, like you said, he's kind of nihilistic, like pretty cocky.
160p पे देखे हैं वो
the different sides of the universe.
Yeah, one is clearly more of a symbol of peace and hope, right? And the other is like, I represent militarized dominance.
Intergalactic conquest.
Actually excited just to see the one time it comes through, and I think that's exactly what we're about to. The cursed arm that comes through, and just the effects, like the splash on the shots, the way it looks. I'm sure the way it feels, especially if you were playing this, like if you go in third person, you're just hovering in the air. You've got your own little thrusters on your back. You're set.
Oh yeah.
And that's the Godslayer himself being able to come through. Again, that revolver looks phenomenal. And those are the three, I want to say, like the big skins that we have right now for the Battle Pass. But there's also other content that is going to be coming through. And that's the view that you want, right? You're floating up in the air. Your thrusters are going for you. Everything kind of holding it through. Again, not always going to have that many Cassies to burn through, but eventually you'll be able to. But there is other content in this Battle Pass, like I was just saying. Death stamps, emote sprays, like all the stuff that we typically get, right, Alyssa?
Yeah, there's quite a bit in addition to these skins. Of course, these are the big ticket items, but there's also an entire track that rewards players that don't buy in. So there's a free track, just like usual. This is a great deal if you want to for 450 crystals, but if you're not quite able to make the purchase, then there is a free track where you'll be able to get several different chests, some items, just by playing and progressing through the game while this Battle Pass is active.
And this is one of the things, again, like you said, with the Battle Pass, you have that free-to-play path where you don't have to pay for anything, but there is still like the premium. And Garrett, you had mentioned that the icon, an animated icon at the end of the premium path is like incredible.
Yeah, so at the end of Battle Pass Plus, which was our former version of Encore in the current Battle Pass you may be familiar with, right now we have this like super imposing blinking light. Like this is also, again, of those screenshots that flash before my eyes from my childhood, right? Yeah, this moment, right, where the suit's powering on, we'd like to immortalize that as an avatar in our game. So really happy to be able to do that. And this is on at the end of the Battle Pass Plus track.
But as you saw, there's still tons of stuff that you can pick up either for free or in the premium path. No matter what, you're getting a ton of stuff in return, and there's all that stuff that you get immediately, the frame as well as the mount, and then just various things being picked up.
Each one themed after right here, like that was the Battlesuit Eagle Eye theme spray. There's also the Battlesuit Furia, or a Battlesuit Angel themed spray. And I believe you can also declare your allegiance to the Imperial Magistrate or the PDF, should you so please, with some 3D sprays in the world too. Or also avatars that are kind of like, you can faction up for the Battle Pass as well.
So for people that have purchased the Battle Pass, you get something different every single level for the Battle Pass.
Oh yeah, that's standard.
So you have to make it a level 40 if you want to to the Imperial Magistrate. But otherwise, you can rock for the PDF, the Paladins Defense Force. A lot of fun lore, honestly, in this one.
What
I'm actually really excited.
Oh, this is the best Bomb King emote, guys. I know it has nothing to do with Max, but we're like, we need this. So, and I also want to comment that here this is base Bomb King, right?
Yeah.
But you can actually mix and match. So if you have like, say, the Snow King weapon equipped on like the Valentine's body, you could put the snowman head on yourself, or you could put a pumpkin. You could put the pumpkin jack-o'-lantern on your head, regardless of what skin you're at, depending on the weapon skin you're using.
I think you actually might have just stolen away. Like, I liked all the skins, but that might be my favorite thing. Just all of the stuff to do with Bomb King is pretty much right up my alley. So that's going to be fun as people watch me end up feeding no matter what. But that is the additional content for this. A lot of really cool things coming out. And there you can see having a legendary MVP pose for Imani coming through.
She's looking real good.
In. But that is not the only pass we're getting. The Battle Pass is one thing, but we're also having the Season Pass come through, and it's working a little different than how it's worked in the past. So what exactly are the changes from the last Season Pass to this one, Garrett?
Absolutely. So last Season Pass, if you remember, got you all the Battle Passes for last year. This Season Pass, we're taking a different route. So it doesn't interact with the Battle Pass. Right off the bat, though, just like before, you're going to get 1,500 crystals with the purchase of the 2019 Season Pass. And the difference is that you are going to unlock all of the initial cosmetics and talents for all of the champions we release this year. Plus, you're going to unlock a unique special cosmetic for each champion we released this year. Plus, you're going to get on screen right now the Legionnaire Victor and the Legionnaire Warhorse. These are limited skins. You're only going to be able to acquire them through the Season Pass, in addition to the limited cutesy Imani Dragon avatar.
Which is also animated.
Which is also animated, and you can't see it here.
The still graphic not doing it justice, but a nice cutesy dragon. There's also, like you said, those two skins, for the one for the Warhorse, one for Victor, and an Imani recolor coming in this one. So this is going to be separate from what releases, I guess, like, well, not with her, but it is going to be another skin that you get only here, and it is the Snowdrift Imani skin.
Absolutely. Boom. So right off the bat, like this skin is drastically stands out from the other ones, right? Yeah. This is a limited skin associated only with the Season Pass, and like you could, the base ones, like you could be the Black Dragon with the red talons, you could be the Gold Dragon if you get that mastery. But if you want that alabaster, like, kind of drake with the blue fringes and horns, like you gotta get it through the Snowdrift.
So we have the turnaround ready for this one as well, and I kind of want to ask, do most of the Imani skins, have they started out as dragon ideas or Imani ideas? Like, it feels like it's like, you know what, we need this color dragon, and then it's like, we'll just make it work with Imani.
With especially on this one, it honestly started with the dragon. we wanted a cool frost dragon.
I mean, already, like, I think it looks like it's clean, like you said, very kind of different approach to it. You said, like, you have the darker color, the red color.
So fresh.
And then this one is, I mean, like, your quintessential, like, if you're going, in my eyes, an Ice Mage build, this is the kind of skin you want to run, right?
That's what you go
perfect
with.
synergy.
Yeah. If you're maining Frost here, if you're maining Frost, you gotta get the Skinergy with this Snowdrift skin. Absolutely. And maybe we'll do a fire one some other time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can use like kind of the initial recolor, like with the red dragon. Like right now, that can work with the fire, I guess, if you want to go for it. Maybe not maximum Skinergy, but still get some in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's one of the ones that I think is going to be most interesting. I don't know if we have in-game for that or not, but no, we have no in-game. So that was just kind of the turnaround. That's going to be coming out with the Season Pass.
It's beautiful.
And we have, like we saw on the graphic, the two skins. First one is the Legionnaire Victor.
That's right.
So I guess kind of what was the background for this?
We wanted to just make an awesome, super heavy armored Victor. So this is Victor kind of riding off into war. His armor obviously has the kind of wolf theming because that is kind of Victor's jam. So
yeah, it's badass, guys. Like I want to shout out too to the weapon. Like I played with a lot of Victor, and I played with a lot of Victor weapons, and I think this might be one of my favorites here. Yeah. It's really embellished. Like the lines on it are clear cut and powerful. I can't wait to get into the game.
Yeah, the turnaround's ready for this one as well, so we can kind of go look at it and actually see, I guess, like the true model for this. And another thing, I guess, to mention is just like the Imani skin, like this, it is immediate unlock when you get the Season Pass. This is something you get right out the gate along with this and the Warhorse.
Yep.
So we have some voice lines.
I'm getting too old for this crap. Every dent in my armor.
is from some god-forsaken battlefield where men died, screaming for their lives. This will be no different. You'd sound less witty with my gauntlet around your throat. People lose teeth when they joke around me. That actually doesn't suck. I don't know what drives me, but I never stop winning. Have your fun.
And there they are together.
So, look at that whole.
You get to see the warhorse as well.
Actually,
so that is
hadn't
be
seen them paired together until now.
किसी
That
Royal
is an
Army का
imposing
हिस्सा.
sight.
I love the fact that like the wolf theme for Victor is woven into this armor, so it's like it's still there. It's still something like it's the reminder of who he is.
And his persona is totally like, because he's like kitted out for war. He's going into some heavy conflict with this armor. And like you could even hear it in his voice, right? It was still that Victor voice that you know, but the kind of offset of it was far more gritty, right? It was a little bit darker. He's a little bit more serious, which hopefully was conveyed. Look at that gun.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
The gun came out so fantastic. This is sort of the kind of primed out version of a Victor gun.
I might just be a sucker for like gold and silver and black.
Well, I think it's that nice contrast, right? It kind of feels like one of those things, like you said, he's going into war. It's this drastic armor, but at the same time, it's kind
क्यों?
of like I want to say like higher level armor, right? It's the marble with the gold on it, like something that you only get when you are like.
क्यों?
Initial cosmetic content plus all the talents for the champions.
ढंग से तो PTS में देख पाएंगे आप 2 मिनट
of like aesthetic.
समझ नहीं आ रहा
How did that like go? Like, how many iterations did it take to get to the point where it came to this?
You know, honestly, this is one of
plate mail versus the mech suits. Who gets to come out on top? Like, can Victor actually hold his own against them, or is their technology just way too advanced for this?
I mean, you know, why not both? They're both awesome.
They're both awesome. Actually, just put them on the same team, then you have nothing to worry about.
There you go. Victor can handle the ground support. The mechs, you know, they got the other stuff.
And the Warhorse, we got to see that in game, but we also have like the splash art, the turnaround for that one whenever we're able to go to it. So you can kind of see like what it looks like on its own without having to be ridden by the armor-clad Victor. And that just looks phenomenal. But we have the turnaround as well to be able to see like, I guess, like the full model and what it kind of looks like from art to in-game. And again, not being ridden by anyone, no mount for this. It's just pure horse.
And shout out to our character artist Austin, who just absolutely rocked this model. Came out so fantastic.
बहुत सही बनाया वैसे.
All right, with that, I mean, that is the season pass that is going forward. And of course, I believe like things throughout the year. How long like is that going to be available? That's 2019.
2019.
So you have plenty of time to be able to get that, starting with 2.01, but I'm assuming just throughout any time that you have going forward with it. It includes the 1,500 crystals, like you mentioned. So it is a value pack when it comes down to it. You're going to be able to get not only that amazing content, but more stuff with the crystals you get from buying it. So everything kind of stacks up on its own.
It's great value.
And I mean, with that, we're going to go actually do a quick video just before we get to balance to unfortunately say goodbye to Thunderbrush, but say hello to Kevin as we get into, again, the big, I guess the other big part of this patch.
Let's do it. 2019 is going to be the best
year ever.
Major updates every month.
6 new champions with our coolest kits yet.
And the best designs ever.
An epic story told throughout the year.
And answer questions you've always had about the realm.
6 new maps, including 3 siege maps. A new battle pass every 2 months.
With our best skins! And later this year, our first ultimate skin.
More community involvement than ever before.
Longer PTS cycles and a new dev schedule.
More time fixing bugs every month.
In-game tournaments.
Clan wars.
Player commendation.
Persistent lobbies.
Cross-platform play and progression.
New game modes. A revamped in-game item store.
And finally, an end to the burst meta.
Maybe a few spikes.
And no pay-to-win ever.
2019 is going to be the best year ever.
सब समझ तो क्लैड वॉर है.
Quick break. We're already back. We have everyone here. Kevin has now joined us. Adonis, as some people may know him.
Yeah, I'm looking at this tree. This is really cool. Is this all fan art?
Yeah, so this is actually our fan art Christmas tree. Thank you everyone who sent it in. We tried to make sure you could be able to see it all, but I think we're going to make this a new Christmas tradition. We basically asked for fan art and notes and cards from our community, and I think it turned out really nice. You can't see it, but there's a crystal tree topper. So.
Shout outs to the Grinch Zen, by the way.
That was pretty good.
This is my favorite.
Thank you guys.
Piece.
We got so much we didn't expect to get, so we tried to arrange it so you can see most of it. But also on paladins.com we have ornament templates, so if you want to make your own Paladins ornaments, you can go there.
I might actually be doing that at some point. We still have yet to decorate my tree. I've had it up for 3 weeks and there's no ornaments touching it. It's just been sitting. It's been up for like 3
days.
weeks.
Okay, I can understand.
It's been like right after Thanksgiving, you put up the tree and then you just forget about it for a long time. But this is where things get, I think, maybe a little bit more in depth. This is where numbers start coming through. This is where changes to champions come through. This is going to be balance. And so the very first thing that is on this list, because we need to tackle it in a very specific order because of the way things are changing, is the item store is actually going to be kind of augmented from what we know it into something that is better.
Yeah, before we touch on the item store, let me come out with kind of an abstract philosophy for the whole season. The idea for Paladins, right, is that our players can modify their characters in significant ways and have lots of opportunities, interesting choices to do so. So the changes that you're going to see listed in the following minutes are all with that in mind. And with the item store, Kev, if you want to run us through the philosophy behind that.
So we've kind of mentioned on social media before, we have a lot of changes to specific item store cards and talents effects that do that, and kind of the adjustments we made there. We looked at the item store holistically because we wanted to do something new. The item store hasn't really been touched in a while. We wanted to see how we could make the game more engaging and kind of give players more choices. We were looking at Smite-esque tier 3 passives or new items or new prices. And what we really found was that our item store is good. We're actually very happy with how it plays out and how it interacts with our champions. But we feel like the limiting factor was that you could only have one of each type. You can only have one offense, utility, defensive, and healing card. And so what we've done is we've actually lifted those restrictions coming into season 2. So now you can have 4 offensive cards, 4 healing. You can have 2 defensive, 2 utility. Really, it allows players that once they're in game, since a lot of their choices come out of game and creating dynamic loadouts for different scenarios and team compositions, that once they get in game, they don't really have too many choices. It's like, okay, well, they have a bunch of direct damage, so I have to go Haven, or I'm this certain healer, so I feel like it's necessary for me to go Chronos. And now with the item store unrestricted, you're still limited to 4 items, important to note, but you're really able to kind of create and challenge certain characters. If you're a healer who's having a lot of trouble with certain characters, now you don't feel as limited, right? You can kind of choose what you want to opt into. You can hard counter certain characters better. Obviously, that'll leave you vulnerable, though. So there is trade-offs where it's like, well, if I'm going all healing cards, I don't have any defensive cards or offensive cards. And even just the first game we play tested this,
it felt really good.
It felt so good just having the choice Oh, I felt really good. I ended up going one card of each anyway, just because a lot of times that is, what's good. But, I found certain characters are going to, maybe opt more towards all the utility cards or an assortment. So we're really excited to do that and kind of open up how Season 2 plays out.
That was my favorite story that you gave us yesterday, was that you played against an Inara that went for all of the healing cards. And it's like, it's not the most optimal build, but it's funny at least to be able to go for it. So there's going to be some of those things I think that you can play around, you can test with, and I'm curious to see what's going to be like rise to the top. What's going to be the #1 items that are still prioritized. But one of the things that came with this item change, not only being able to now not be restricted, still only having 4 items, but being able to choose any of the items for those 4. You're also removing any loadout effects, including talents and cards that mimic anything in game. So something like a Cauterizer or a Wrecker or any of that is going to be kind of removed.
So now that like the restrictions on those effects for the item store have been lifted, you don't need them in your base loadouts. And the idea is that previously in Paladins, we had those there because we thought it represented an interesting choice. Yes. You're like, I can buy or I can choose to pick Death and Taxes or Kinetics on Cassie, right? If I want to not be able to invest in Cauterize. And sure, it's an interesting choice in that it presents opportunity cost, and you can then not invest in items in game to put that into offensive choices. However, the consequence was that it messed with the pace of the game and part of the feeling of what Paladins is, which is things, the pace like increases, it gets faster over time. But when Leon, for example, right, with Death and Taxes is able to step out of the first round spawn room and essentially have better than the final tier Cauterize, then your healers and front lines are already on the back foot like, what? Like that's not how this is supposed to play. And sure, it was interesting. It was an interesting thing, but we deemed that it was not worth the consequence, which led into the removal of the restrictions on the item store and led to the removal of, so no loadout card now will reduce healing, increase damage to shields, add a reveal to anything in a kit that normally didn't have it base, and also no more CC reduction. Either. Okay. You need to invest into the items in the item store to do that. And now, with the item store changes, it's far easier, and the secondary item cards have also had their prices reduced as well.
This is, I think, a really good meeting point for both the things we wanted to do. Where we, there's been a lot of frustrations from, high-level players about, certain cards like, or certain talents like Death and Taxes, and, especially at a pro level, right? When you look at like the top 1% of players that are in Masters, Grandmasters, and then those that are, competing at LAN, we notice that they prioritize, and it's almost like if you don't go this specific loadout card, you are playing the game wrong because this, again, affected the pace of the game so much, and, now we're immediately reducing the effectiveness of the healers in round 1 instead of round 3 or 4. And it just, I think these two changes combined together are going to really open up Paladins for next year.
And as you can imagine, I mean, you just mentioned tons of loadout cards that are going to be affected, which is going to hit tons of champions. So
Nearly
that's
50?
why we've said that a lot of these notes, like you're going to want to read anything about the update post-show because there's we just don't have enough time to actually cover it.
Yeah, it is important. The champions we're going to go over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a couple things for them. Every single champion has a change. I think there was only like 5 champions that only had that got affected by the overarching talent adjustments. Everyone else has at least a minimum of 1 card change, maybe some talent changes. We changed a couple talents.
And yeah, the talents is actually the big thing. We are going down from 4. Now we have 3 spread across every single champion, kind of making it a little bit more, I want to say, like independent, like which choice do you go with? It's going to affect your game a lot more. Things like Death and Taxes are being removed, but others are going in kit, which we'll get into a little bit later. But what was kind of the, I guess, theory behind taking those talent down by 1 number?
So again, man, it's choices. It's choices. We want your choices to have impact and change the way you play your character. And going from 4 to 3 means that those choices could be more unified in what they individually did, right? Because then they didn't have to be like, oh, well, we need a 4th talent to do it, right? So we have to have 4 options, and then that can weaken the creativeness of the other 3 when we're just slapping on another one. So the fact that we are kind of slimming down to these 3 talents means our players are going to have far distincter play styles with the...
Yeah, I think Amani is a perfect example of that. Like we clearly have like this, okay, I want to become this opportunity cost turret where I have to stand in an area, or I want to be a frost-slinging, kind of mage that's going to get more upfront extra damage versus, okay, I need to do this interesting combo with my fire stance where I need to get 2 hits, and then I can proc an AoE on it where it's kind of more of this burst teamfight option. So, Amani's a great example of kind of what we want to do with talents. And we have, I think, made adjustments and kind of curated through, and it's going to be a lot better balancing moving forward as well. Just because having 4 talents, especially because you have some talents that are kind of more intended for either fun or ease of use occasionally, and you have some talents that are like 60% win rate, like 10% higher than the others, and we're like, how do we balance this, right? And having 3, we can kind of create a lot more structured and well-rounded character kits in the end. And we can also have, better card interactions because now we don't have to worry about, okay, now we've added 33% more things to deal with.
And with that, I mean, you had mentioned other things outside of the talents that are changing, a lot of cards that are going either into loadouts or just being changed in loadouts, things that are going through all that. And I think that's kind of the big starting point is Dredge, the theory, I guess, behind all these champions. Dredge is the first one on the list. And it's just a simple kind of card change where it's going to be Spyglass now becoming Crow's Nest, but it's going to change the way broadside affects for him. It's going to knock him up now.
Yeah, I want to talk about this because we did change 50 cards, or somewhere near that amount, and these are like new effects, not changing numbers. And so we were going to, we get to explore a little bit, enter a new season of design creativeness and try different effect types that we haven't done before. We've also noticed kind of a lot of the community perceptions around Dredge, and we've been watching him very closely. You noticed the past couple patches he's had negative adjustments to reduce some of kind of his more extreme frustrations centered around Scuttle, and we have noticed his win rate. It is low now. Kind of was low before, and we're kind of happy with where he's at because we have made a lot of adjustments and we want to see over time kind of where he lands if we need to make anything more. So this is just a card change for Dredge. It is now going to knock you back with your broadside. So if you drop it if you're running this card and you're dropping it at your feet trying to stop a flank, like you're going to go flying too. You can also set up some really, really cool plays because you get a little bit of air control once this knocks you up. So you can kind of knock yourself to areas you couldn't get before. But obviously it's going to be fairly obvious when you have giant broadside projectiles there. And it looks like we're going to be able to get to see it in game as well. Charles is piloting Squid Boy. There you go.
Okay.
And this was something that was like one thing that's important to note, and I think you can see it here, but it doesn't deal damage to you, but it gives you a lot more kind of mobility options, but it changes how you would use broadside as an ability.
Yeah, it's like a pseudo rocket jump, right? Yeah. This element of kind of, and I want to clarify too that this is not going to knock back enemies. This is only for Dredge. Correct. This is self knockback. So
kind of like Summit for Inara?
Delayed,
knockout
yeah, a little bit like Summit for Inara. It gives it a delayed movement ability that has some preemptive setup, but should create some interesting and fun scenarios.
For his talents as well, what we've done is we really love the idea of Freebooter, but it required kind of a lot of investment, and the only way you really found it useful is if you're almost 5 stacking and super coordinated, and a lot of times players just found the other talents just having the raw numbers way more useful overall during the course of a game rather than, okay, we could set up some interesting plays. So we've actually integrated Freebooter into the base of Shortcut. So now every player is going to know, and it's going to become kind of a thing that people are going to get used to, where now friendlies are going to be able to travel through Dredge's portals at will.
Okay, so and that's just integrated into the kit now, something that you can just do without having to worry about any of your talents. And you can now add this card to your loadout to potentially get yourself a knock up, or a knock up for you specifically to try and give you maybe some mobility. And that's going to be, I think, one of the more interesting things. And mobility seems to be like the first 2 things that get tackled because Dredge is getting a little bit there, but Drogo's Worm Jets is being not necessarily reworked, but changed in a way that kind of come through to make them feel
sizable.
Because right now, Worm Jets, it's an interesting spot. And we see this anomaly sometimes where on our side, like a talent does very well, but isn't picked because the perception is that it's weak. So we like to change it to something far more drastically that influences your gameplay. And as you can see here, what it does is empowers the qualities of your boosters far more than the traditional one. And I don't know what our cameraman has equipped in his loadout, but if he could equip the rank 5 of field tanks in the rank 5 of Rain of Fire is going to give a hint at the potential flying ability of our wonderful lizard, but it's pretty substantial. With the right loadout, I will say that you can fly indefinitely with this talent. So it is very impressive to be able to do this, and also I know this is something that Drogo's players have wanted for a long time, so it's good to be able to give it to them.
It just makes his thrusters feel more impactful, I want to say, and that's kind of like the point overall of the talent, right?
Yeah, it's not even feeling impactful like it is. It's drastically more impactful.
And it's going to change
you're flying way more
styles, the way you play. Admittedly, I think I've seen some people say, well, if you're in the air a little bit more, if they have like a sniper, then you might be an easier target. But again, that's kind of
that's
the push and
Paladins,
pull.
man.
Exactly.
Like,
there's counters.
Yeah.
there's ways to beat champions.
And then one of the other smaller changes, but again, it's something that's related to a talent kind of becoming more just in kit, is going to be something on Maeve, the 9 lives. That was Artful Dodger, I guess. Not the CC cleanse, but the heal is kind of staying with her.
We've seen this requested a lot, to have this integrated back into her base kit, and we think this is going to help Maeve. She's in a spot where we've made a lot of adjustments to her talents kind of over the seasons, and she also had a lot of just... Maeve is probably one of the most volatile champions when it comes to meta shifts, because even if she doesn't get any changes for 6 months, she can go from a mid-tier pick to a top-tier pick based on what champs are going to be played, and kind of even just small adjustments go a long way. So now she's going to have a little bit more sustainability by herself. A lot of times Maeve is a true flank, where she is in the back line by herself, isolated. That 400 health heal is going to help her. It's also kind of this opportunity cost, where a lot of times you're using that not even for a heal. Many times you're simply using it for your reset, trying to get a kill, and then if you do that, you won't have the heal in case someone else comes around the corner. So players are going to have to think whether they want to save it for the heal, or kind of use it to isolate and gank a problem champion in the back line.
It's just one of those things. It's like that perfect number too, right? 400, where it's not enough that it's going to be like, this is so heavily swings the fight in your favor, but it's like, it's that chance, because her daggers can do a lot, and if you have like a true flank that's playing well, that can make just enough of a difference in the fight.
And she has a card that increases that heal as well. So I think you can get up to 800, I believe. It's 400 at max rank. So if you want to go this self-centric heal build, you can, but again, you have to invest that many points, and that's going to leave you limited on some other really strong Maeve cards.
And we have, I think, probably another change here that a lot of people are going to like, right? Wormjets, I think, is going to affect the Drogo's players that really like it. Maeve is going to affect people either positively or negatively, depending on which receiving end of Maeve you are there. But this one, I think, is going to be received with overwhelming positivity, and it is that Overpower is being changed from just, hey, I'm going to press E and you're grabbed. It is now a skill shot and has to be aimed.
Yeah, so this was one of the absolutely top requested things. Khan was a really successful character release for us. He's a very strong tank. All tanks in our game are very powerful. But the relationship of how his ult was delivered was a sticking point for a lot of players in terms of what they think it should feel like, and the effectiveness that it should be able to enact on the battlefield. So with this change, let's do a miss, Charles. So you can hit your ability or your ultimate and whiff entirely. What happens is, if there is an enemy on your cross, think of it like, so functionally it's an instant trace. So in first person, you need to line up that shot, right? And hit your ultimate at just the right time, and catch that person right where they are in midair, or if they're on the ground. And then everything else that the ultimate did carries out as normal. But now there's just an additional step where you have to aim and hit the ultimate at the start, instead of it being a free ability like it was previously, which at the higher levels of play really results in this relationship where it's like, okay, if I take morale boost, or it's effectively a free kill at every X time mark, which is less than interesting. And again, it feels really cool. It's very thematic. And now we get to make it stronger, right? Because it's harder to land. So as you saw there, the bounce damage was increased by 300, so up to a total of 900. And also the range that you can potentially grab people at is longer as well.
And this is one of those things, and I actually see a thing that says like a missing provides 30% ultimate charge back. And I think that was something we've actually seen happen in the past. There's like very rare instances where we've seen people get out of the grasp while it was moving, but it's happened just a couple of times. But now if you miss, you do get to retain a little bit, but considering how like slow charging it is, you're not really getting too big of a refund, right?
No, yeah, not comparatively. I mean, if you whiff, that's still 70% of your ultimate down. Whereas before, a lot of times it's almost guaranteed a kill for a coordinated, even a semi-coordinated team.
Yeah.
And then just now not having that like guaranteed 5v4, we think is going to change how Khan is going to be played. And people are going to be a lot safer with that ultimate too. They're not just going to be like, I have my ultimate, time to press the button. They're going to have to think about it and kind of know when to time it and how to aim it and you know, kind of where to expect players to come around.
And so a lot of fun, I think, gonna be had with that now that it's not just a free kill button that you can come through. It's going to actually impact it. And like you said, hitting people in midair is probably going to be a lot more difficult trying to find that aim, that trace.
Oh, it does.
Oh, yeah.
The favorite is the juggle, right? You hit the commander's grab, throw them over your head, and then as they're falling, you just pivot and then yank them right out of the sky with the ultimate.
I'll be honest, I love Amani. One of my favorite things to do is killing Amani as she's on Frostfire Glide. Like whatever it is, like whether Khan ripping her out or like sniping her as she goes, Makoa hooking her out of it as well. They all feel super satisfying.
But we've been talking about certain talents that are getting integrated. Saris is the next on this list, and one that this has actually kind of been spoiled if you've been paying attention to the show that you two do together.
We got big mouths.
Restore Soul is
this patch
going to be now healing all allies within 50 feet. So this is going to be Void Abides kind of falling in kit with Saris.
Important thing to note here is that it is the Void Abides talent is a 50% shared value. This is only a 30% of the value at base. That is shared amongst the team. So, you know, when looking at Saris compared to other healers, what she's really good at is saying, okay, this person with a lot of health, I'm going to heal you a lot of health. And many times what was happening is anytime you're not healing that front line that's in the middle of combat, you're actually just overhealing. And then you're also locked out of your other abilities. And it made her a really ineffective team healer unless she went Void Abides. And that, you know, kind of almost felt like a forced choice for a lot of Saris players unless they wanted to try like, you know, a flanking Saris fun build. And so what this kind of does is it allows Saris to more effectively team heal at a base level without it being overwhelming, right? She's not going to be doing a ton of healing to the extra players, but it allows her to keep her team healthy. And then she can now go into these other interesting talents that'll, you know, kind of change the way how it plays out. I think Soul Collector is probably going to be a big look for a lot of people, just having that extra tankiness. And now maybe you can become like a tanky support that's really good at healing one person and then kind of doing a little bit of extra sustain. And then other front lines, or excuse me, other supports are going to kind of heal that, like, I'm going to heal everyone, like a Ying. So very happy with this change. I think this kind of doesn't make her the most effective team healer, but it helps her compete at the highest levels of other supports.
It brings her back in to like kind of go up there with the Fury, the Moldamba, people who can hit multiple targets at the same time. And this one, I actually didn't read this change beforehand. This one caught me off guard, but Strix's unauthorized use is getting completely changed, or not completely changed around, but there's going to be a cooldown reduction, no longer reveals. Like what exactly is going on for Strix here?
Yeah, we saw in recent time frame also there's a lot of frustration over the frequency of players being revealed. And we've solved this in two parts. One was removing the reveals from loadouts entirely, which we touched on at the beginning of this talk, and also the fact that unauthorized use was like a 3-second cooldown, potentially team right revealed if you like buff up the flare enough. And that was never the idea. The idea was that you had a projectile-based burst option for more of a pistol build. So now we've made it more effective at that role while taking the reveal off of it. So it's no longer, you're not buying this to just spam reveals. You're buying this to try and get this projectile burst option and run this pistol build, which further kind of specializes the talent compared to what it was previously, which really was just like, I just want more flares.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited to see how this one kind of takes effect, because this is one of the ones that we've seen competitively, like a couple of builds that have tried to focus on like using the flare and then just sniping them to try and burst someone down as a kill, but it kind of fell off, like you said, and kind of focused more on, I'm just going to reveal it to everybody.
And this is going to be more obviously more confirmable now. And I do want to note, you can bounce this off walls, okay? Thank you, Charles. I want to see a montage of people killing people by bouncing unauthorized used flare off of walls.
He'll get
I want a trick shot video of this, mostly to prove one person wrong. Because they said no one's really going to use that. I was like, I bet you they will.
Yeah, it should represent an interesting play style. Don't sleep on that pistol. It's really mean.
That is probably the most accurate statement about that pistol that I have heard. It is frighteningly damaging if you underestimate it. You get in Strix's face, and he's never going to be able to do anything. Get too close, and you can still get no-scoped. I learned that the hard way, too. But another champion that has actually been functioning, maybe medium to close range, Skye. The smoke screen change. This is also something that you kind of spoiled a little bit, but the biggest thing, it no longer interferes with enemy line of sight.
Yes, so this was really important. It cleans up some of our game space clarity too, which is always a really nice add, nice polished element, kind of attributed to like the hunt level efforts, right? Where you're not just gonna have these persistent, spammable VFX volume just in your face all the time. So as you can see here, we've lowered the VFX to the floor. They're not as much in your way. And now, if you're an enemy standing in this, doesn't affect who you can and can't see. It was just this weird rules that didn't have any clear, I guess, notions or feedback around it. Now, what Smoke Bomb is for Skye is essentially kind of like a safe haven. What it's going to do to her is every second or so, reapply stealth to her. So she's going to be able to play in and around her smoke screen and have a lot more survivability. And this synergizes really well with her cards that amplify what her smoke screen does and the benefits it gives her, such as healing, such as increased movement speed, and even the cooldown and duration of the smoke screen as well. All of these things are far more impactful now that the base ability is stronger. So if you take the healing vapors, right? Every time it re-stealths you, it's also going to reapply that healing thing. So Skye is much more efficient at self-sustaining, needs less babysitting, which is her problem, right? Because she doesn't have those large displacement, like quick movement abilities to like dodge roll, dash, blink, etc. But now she has a very trusty defensive thing on her Q. Whereas before, it was something that like we put damage on it on a talent. We like made some obscure rules over who you can and can't see in it. But now it's like, I throw this at my feet, I can stand in it and constantly be re-stealth, constantly be safe, wait for my other cooldowns to tick down, time my strikes out of it. You can even weave your shots in between the stealth applications because it has that pace, right? It's like every second or so, it's gonna re-stealth. So I can go stealth, poison bolts, stealth, reposition, open up, re-stealth, reposition, open up. Like, it opens up a whole new world of gameplay.
And it's going to make it so, like you said, not going to block vision. So I know there's been countless times where, like, if you're playing support, right, and you have a smokes bomb thrown on your front line or something, they're completely out of vision.
No longer does that.
So you can still see them, but at the same time, it's giving Skye a whole new capability of play style that can come through. Again, another one that I'm really excited to see how it takes effect.
The thing we haven't talked about yet is, so we took out the talent, like I just mentioned, where you're like throwing your smoke bomb on people to deal damage, because now doesn't quite make a lot of sense. Now what that talent does is it is a healing field for your allies. You can run support Skye.
That is going to be something I'm actually incredibly excited to see.
It's not a low amount of healing either.
There are lots of balance changes. Make sure to read the patch notes because we are not even covering close.
Yes, to this one is integral though, and it
close to all of it.
Just like again, another whole new world of potential for Skye.
There is
definitely check it out.
So much, and again, that is worth mentioning, right? We have technically 30 minutes left, although just a couple more changes that we go through. But there's so much that's being untouched because every champion had talent adjustments. Quite every champion had card adjustments, but there's so many that there's going to be stuff that you just have to read through.
There's a lot, guys.
It is Alyssa's novel as far as things are going.
I'd say at least 30. Probably 30 of the champions had something besides talent adjustments. Close to. I'm just roughly guessing at this point. It's a lot.
Well,
who's next on our list?
Tyra is actually next. And this one is a very interesting one because, again, it's a talent integration for her. And then a little bit of a change on top of that as well.
Extra.
Do you want this one and I can get Zen?
Yeah, we can.
Because I want to talk about Zen.
Okay. So Tyra, right? Tyra occupies kind of the space where Tyra can slay. Like Tyra does so much damage. Everything in her kit is so useful in the right situation. Where Tyra's weak, right, is she walks. She doesn't have large discrete movement abilities. So we can empower all of her other abilities strongly because of this weak spot in her kit, right? What we've done is we took the lifesteal talent and we've integrated it flat into her in-hand. So base, Tyra is getting 15% lifesteal. It stacks with her cards that benefit her. It stacks with the item store that benefits her. This is something that I think, like, she's not going anywhere quick. but she can sustain better. She's more lethal, and all of her other talent builds now benefit from this because it's base hunting, whatever the rifle is called, auto rifle. And then the other element that we did was we put, so now Mercy Kill isn't a tank killing or like a supposed tank killing device. Mercy Kill now grants 3 charges of your grenade launcher. Pop, pop, pop. So this can be effective. This is a whole new because where Tyra's weak, right? Also, is that she's not really poking people from long range. Like in mid range, like insane DPS, especially with a marked target or standing in Molotov, she shreds. But what she's lacking, right, is that competitive edge to make yourself kind of get line of sight on someone for a brief moment, fire off a high damaging projectile, and then keep moving. This kind of peaking philosophy, right? She couldn't do that because it was gated behind a longer cooldown on the Mercy Kill, on the nade launcher. But now this talent feels really good to play, drastically changes how you play Tyra again, which is more reinforcing our philosophy, and is just great.
And so that's going to open up, like you said, a little bit more survivability for her, potentially a couple more, not necessarily nade montages, but might see more grenade kills coming through, making sure that that's going to be effective. And then the last one, you seemed like you were excited to be able to take this away. Zen is having quite a few changes as well.
Yes. I think we're starting with counter on this one.
Yes.
So we looked at counter, the ability itself, and similar to kind of Androxus's Defiance. Oh, also, because I know everyone wants to know this, Androxus Defiance is now doing 520. So
yes,
throwback. I know it's an important topic. Want to get that one out there publicly. So now you're going to be firing back a ranged projectile. So it's actually going to be an in-hand weapon slash, basically. You're now no longer going to be firing back a melee ability. This gives Zen so many more options to be able to kind of hit targets from long range, because a lot of times this talent or this ability was really only useful in very, very close spaces, and really it was just I'm going to block a shot. Now this is I'm going to block a shot, and I can kind of send this projectile back and hit players. Something. The reset card? Oh yeah. So we know a lot of players like a whirl build. We've seen it, but it's kind of never really had a good standing. It was hard to line up. So we actually changed one of the cards for Zen into a whirl cooldown reduction card. So if you hit the projectile, this counter projectile, you can get a card that reduces the cooldown of whirl by up to 5 seconds. So it's 1 scaling.
And so it actually helps kind of, I guess, juggle his abilities, and that makes it, I want to say, more effective as a flank, being able to like maybe whirl, counter, whirl.
Yep.
And get around.
It's not
travel. It's not an instant reset.
Yeah, and so you're not able to get multiple counters in a row, really. So you're really only going to get the guaranteed like whirl, counter, whirl, and then maybe you've also reduced it because of the cooldown card that reduces it based on the number of players you hit. But it's a much more consistent play style now for Zen.
And it's one of those things specifically for that kind of change. I had only one counter kill that I can ever remember actually seeing every time that Zen has been played, and it was like the other day in the 2v2 tournament. Like it was like it just happened, and it was because everything was so close. So not too surprising, I guess, to see maybe a change come through that. And I feel like it's
fun to hit this.
Also makes sense as counter because you're just gonna kind of bounce it right back at them. But that is kind of all the champions that we have for at least today to talk through. If you want to go read through them again, Alyssa wrote a full novel for you, so there is so much to kind of burn through. But we also have ranked rewards, things from Season 1 and the way things are kind of changing in the future for the way those are going. So what's going on with these?
Yes, so I mean, to start off, we're ending Season 1, so you will be getting your ranked borders, but we're going right into the rewards. Okay.
We got them on screen.
So there's a lot going on. Garrett, you can talk about these better than I can. There's quite a few.
So I guess we'll go into loading frames later. So we're going to have a whole new format for Season 2 of Paladins Ranked. We are going to have 2-month splits. They're going to follow each battle pass. So every 2 months, you're going to get a new battle pass and a new ranked split. And with that, you're going to get new split rewards. It'll be a play 10, play 25 games. Maybe we'll switch it up. So for this first split, you're going to be getting a gold chest, a shield bearer avatar. And then for the season rewards, these can be completed from the start of Season 2 to the end. For reaching gold 5, you're going to get a guaranteed ranked border for at the end of Season 2. 100 games, you're going to get a limited title battle hardened. And then also you're going to get Grok, this Chieftain Grok for 200 games played. And this skin is awesome. I love it. It's so good.
And before I think we get to dive into that, because we will be looking at the skin, you were saying like season 1 ranked stuff is going to be coming out. So we have like, you know, like the frames that I think are coming through.
Yeah, from season 1, you will be getting your ranked frame for the highest tier you achieved during season 1, and you'll get that when 2.01 launches. So.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Man, Chris is just killing it. Oh, this also doesn't have the, maybe we have another one with the Masters and the Grandmasters. Those look amazing, but I mean, just the Diamond one looks phenomenal.
Man,
they did a really good job.
I know we have the image. I believe we also have a video for these as well. So are there like effects on these borders, or is this just going to be kind of what you get? Because I mean, the way these look already is phenomenal, and the way they level up.
The Masters.
I guess we'll see.
I think
there they are.
Yeah. So if you're really killing it in ranked, you're gonna get these animated loading frames, and these are some intense loading frames. There's a lot going on.
The way it seems to be themed is either the more birds there are, the higher tier birds there are, be scared. But then the more fire there is with those birds, start to be even more frightening.
The artist for these was actually like winged creatures, was it? And like you escalate the veracity and the scariness of the winged creature as the rank increases, right? Because you ended with a dragon, right? And you started with like a bird. Yeah.
And so that was the rewards you're going to be getting for this past season. And of course, with the way things were going, we were actually mentioning the Chieftain Grok, and this was something that I think is a good example of how far the game has come, because your next season's rewards are going to lead you into this skin that I personally have yet to see, but I have heard looks amazing.
It's pretty good. It's the boy.
It's the boy. Grok. Everyone loves Grok. He's finally going to get, well, I say finally going to get some love. I feel like he always gets some love.
He does get love.
Almost every,
he's getting
not every other patch, but every like third patch. He's going
about 20% more love.
Yeah, he's, would you say he's surging with power, Garrett?
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
So some Grok balance changes. You guys didn't.
Grok balance coming up.
I think we're going to see him in game in a second.
Yeah,
something I do want to take note of about the splits. So we're doing 6 splits. So this is all. We're doubling the amount of rewards you can get from ranked splits. With this, we're going to be removing the crystal rewards and the champion leaderboards from the end of split, because we're doing significantly more and we're offering more rewards through the actual gameplay system itself, where once I play 10 or 25, I immediately get it. I don't have to wait. And then specifically to the removal of the champion leaderboards, this was a gameable system where we noticed players intentionally throwing on characters so then they could hop onto their main character and then grind to the top of the leaderboard, whether it was for the crystal rewards or just to be at the top of the leaderboard themselves. We felt this was an unhealthy situation for the Paladins ecosystem, so we have removed it from the game.
And I believe we have a turnaround actually for this skin as well, to be able to kind of see what it looks like in game. And I actually have a question, because you mentioned the splits that have been coming through. Is this like a split 1, or is this a season 2 reward? Like, does it fall under season 2? Okay, so this is the full skin.
At any point, once you've played 200 games in ranked season 2, you will get this skin, regardless of your rank.
So you can go ahead and actually you can see what this skin looks like when it does go forward as a full model, not just the art. And here's some of his voice lines.
Look at those shoulders.
Look at them. There's so many horns.
Ionized particles that
Grok's just gonna like reverse into you.
The spirits grant me divine power. Unleash the dogs of war. Stop orking me around.
Stop orking me around,
A
Charles.
storm is coming. You're a warrior? Sorry. Those gangly limbs confused me.
Oh, damn, dude. Throwing shade.
I have 2 immediate thoughts that came into my mind. It's that video's promise of more spikes seems to be coming true. But that also makes me think, like, you know the tailpipes on like, the very ridiculous motorcycles? Like, you've given Grok tailpipes now.
Yeah, and Super Saiyan hair. Like, so what? Okay? Grok needs to be his best self.
And he can fly.
Yeah.
He's got it all.
No, Grok should be a force to be reckoned with right now in this upcoming season. And I think this skin really embodies that. Also, it moving to be a little bit more of a dedicated reward versus being at that gold 5 threshold, and now being at the 200 games, right, in rank. It's a little bit more, I guess, prestigious.
So it's like if you're like, you have the same skill level I do, you don't have to worry about the fact that you're never going to be able to reach the attainable level. Like, you can just get it from playing the games.
Yeah, so regardless of regardless of your skill level, like if you're putting 200 games in a rank, you should kind of be rewarded with the really cool visual that we put out there. And for those that kind of want to show off how good they are, how skilled they are, we have the ranked loading frame. So that's when you go in, you get the Obviously, the escalating birds to where if you're grandmasters, you've got a dragon, and you know to be scared of that person when you get into a match and you see that border.
And actually, with the way things are going, I was going to make a joke about how you should be scared and worried when they're in your game, but we actually have another change that's going to be coming with this patch, and then I guess some progression throughout the next few patches as things go forward with it that is going to help kind of make matchmaking just a lot cleaner. And that is the changes of crossplay, cross-progression kind of coming into the game. So, like, Alyssa, what exactly are we doing with this?
Yeah, so crossplay, we're introducing crossplay across Nintendo Switch, PC, and Xbox One. So that just means that you'll be able to play with and against players on all of those platforms. So you can opt out of it. It's going to be based on your input method. So whether you're playing with a controller or whether you're playing with a mouse and keyboard. But yeah, you can go into all the details.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I just want to say that crossplay is awesome. It's an amazing thing for gaming in general, not specifically just us. And we're really proud to be one of the companies on the forefront of like bringing these players together from all over the world, regardless of platform. Like now you're not an Xbox Paladins player. Now you're not a PC you're just a Paladins player. And we really like that. It unifies our players. And that being said, like, Alyssa mentioned the platforms that we're ready to go on for crossplay, and we're technically ready to support additional ones too, should things change. It's really special because, like, I mean, I don't want to, you know, tear up or anything, but like, I remember before, like, you'd always come to school and be like, "Hey, man, I got this game. You want to play with me?" It's like, "Sure." What do you have it on? And
PS4.
You're like, PS4 or Xbox, and you're like, "Oh, okay, man. I guess I won't play with you."
You got the 3DS version?
Yeah.
We can link.
So it's really special. I think it's really cool. And for us, with that, so not only is it cross-play, but in the near future too, we're going to have cross-progression available for PC and Xbox, and we're technically ready to support more platforms too. It's really cool. And again, this is the thing that's going to benefit our players. You're going to be getting better you're going to get better matches quicker. You can elect to say, no, I only want to play people that are the same input as me. Might result in longer queue times and poor matches because you're self-selecting into that. And also, ranked is going to be input specific.
Yeah.
So you're only going to be, if I have a mouse and keyboard, I'm only going to be playing in ranked against people with mouse and keyboard. And also, there's safeguards for people trying to bamboozle the system, right? In terms of like, I'm gonna go in the controller match and then I'm gonna switch to my mouse and keyboard. Like, if you enter into a game as like you're like, I'm set to controller, you're only gonna be able to, you are limited to only use your controller in that match. So we put systems in place to protect our players from anyone looking to abuse it.
And we're not going to be releasing crossplay with mouse keyboard support for console, but that is something that will be available very, very, very soon. There's just one like SDK upgrade that we had to do, so it didn't quite make it into this patch, but probably in the next one you'll see.
It's really cool though, guys. I can't wait.
That's going to be, I think, a lot of progression. Again, like you said, it's just going to be better matches, more players, kind of all in the same pool instead of having to be separated just because you happen to be on a different platform. But I mean, that's I think the last big one that we have to mention for this. So before things really do come to a close, I want to know, like, is there an expected release date for this patch? Like, do we have kind of a timeline for when we can finally like get our hands on Amani and play her?
Absolutely.
So release is slated for mid-January. We're going to have a much longer PTS just because this is such a huge patch, but also because of the holidays. Lots of employees are spending time with their families. So we wanted to make sure that we have plenty of time to test this, get everything right, get your guys' feedback because there's so many changes going into this. So PTS will hopefully be up later today or tomorrow. Go check the full patch notes because like we said, there's a ton we didn't cover on paladins.com, and a lot of people worked on those, not just me. You said thanks to me, but it's like Garrett and Kevin and Sadia and Alex. So many people worked on those. So yeah, just a ton of information, and we hope you guys love this patch as much as we do.
I think the best way to kind of put the way patch notes are, so there's 40 pages that has been mentioned. We are at just 10 minutes shy of 2 full hours for this. And
thanks for sticking with us.
And we didn't cover even like a chunk of that. Like we only did so much. So there is still so much to be able to go through, and it's just one of those things, like, unless you wanted to sit here for another 6 hours, we would not be able to cover all that content. But we do still have other content coming today. I believe believe actually there's going to be at least some show from 2 to 3. I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
I think a streamer.
I
think a streamer is going on. Yeah.
Going for that, and then I know at 3 o'clock we have Dev Insight that I'm going to be on for that. So we're going to be going forward. So there's still plenty of Paladins content to come for you while you are reading your patch notes on one tab. You can be watching or listening to the stream in the other. But thank you for sticking with us for this full 2 hours. It's been a lot of information to process, a lot of cool new skins all coming on the way. So keep your eyes open for the PTS. But until later, we will talk to you next time.
Happy holidays!
Okay. तो इसी के साथ खत्म होती है स्ट्रीम भी। बहुत लंबी स्ट्रीम हो गई आज। इसी के साथ मजे करें। बाय बाय।